Chris Caldwell, agent in here. I'll skip the bios for now. If you want to get to know me better, let's meet after class. Real quickly, I wanted to start off by you guys introducing yourselves and giving me a quick version of what background you might have. Quick, we don't have a lot of time, and what your goals are for this year in real estate. And so, go ahead, Ada.
I'm not aging yet.
You're not aging yet. Okay, so that's going to be tough. What's your background?
My background, kitchen remodeler.
Okay, so some hands-on construction experience. Okay, all right, great. Thank you, Edward.
Background in head sales and service industry, automotive, and all facets of transportation. Did well in real estate as far as investing, and always wanted to get my license. Now I'm at the juncture of my life that I want to do so.
Okay, so you're jumping in as a career full-time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, great.
Nate Moncrief. I'm born and raised Poway. My license is pending right now, so it's going to be in the next week or two, hopefully. My goals this year are to at least get 17 houses sold or bought or sold, 17 transactions in my belt.
Right on a team or by yourself?
By myself right now.
Gary?
Yeah, my name is Gary Cologne. I'm coming from software sales into full-time agent, and yeah, my first week was like last week, and I guess my goal would be to sell around $5 million worth of property.
Okay, cool. Awesome, $5 million. All right. Lori?
My name is Lori. I'm agency in accounting, and I've done some sales.
Okay. What's your goals?
Goals, keep going with real estate.
Oh, come on, we got to be more specific than that. You don't have a transaction or an income goal? Don't be bashful.
Working with a few buyer right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll see a listing, but I think
That's all right. No. That's not the goal, though. What's the goal? It's going to keep you going when things get tough. You can do one a month?
listing a month, right?
One a month? Okay. Oja, is that?
Yes.
Quick background, goals in real estate?
Exactly right there. My name is Mojban, and I was in the design business for all my life, and now this is a new field for me, new language.
Yep.
I'm trying as hard as I can to be the best in this office.
Okay. Best in this office. We'll tell Dan Beer you're coming.
I cannot set bigger than this goal, I guess.
Something you said, which is great, is you're learning the new language. That's what you all are doing. Okay, you got sales experience. You're just learning a new language. You're going to apply that. Your design experience will come in handy. Don't doubt that. Okay, because a lot of the time, what we do, you have to be able to hear the client and see what they're looking for and make those match up. So it'll come in handy.
Everybody sign in? Yeah.
No.
If you haven't signed in, make sure you do so you get credit.
Okay, my name is James.
James?
Yes, my background is customer service and sales.
Okay.
My goal here, I think, for the first 2 to 3 years, I can sell at least 10 houses per year.
10 a year. Okay. All right, great. Rebecca?
My name is Rebecca. I'm a graphic designer, and my goals is hopefully one transaction.
Say that a little bit louder.
One transaction per month.
1 month. All right, cool. Common theme here, you're going to hear me say, guys, graphic designer, customer service, all those things are very relevant because we all, in real estate, you do everything. And so use those skills that you have and then learn the language that we're going to teach you. Jonathan?
Jonathan Cohen-Kershaw. I was previously in pharma startup. Now I'm here. My goal is netting 1 million, which will be around 63 homes.
Okay. Good job. Justin?
I'm Justin Filler. I'm from Solana Beach, born and raised there. I was in retail sales to begin with. Learned a lot about sales from that. And I'm going to sell 8 homes this year.
8? Great. Good job.
Wow.
And something you guys, when you're setting your goals, make it the language that you've already done it. I am going to sell 8 homes. Not I want to, not I hope to, okay? I'm telling you, that stuff matters on the smallest level. Richard?
Richard Barnell. I come from a business management background, corporate world, new to real estate, and goal is to do. I want to focus on this area here, Scripps Ranch Valley area, and so goals about 1 a month.
Cool. The good news there is most of your competition has no idea about business management, so you're already ahead of the game. Chen?
Chen Wang. My background is research, medical research, and I started real estate business from Chicago and moved here last year. Going north of 1,000 per month. Okay.
So research background, you're probably going to be very good on the analytical side, the valuations. You're going to be able to protect your clients, make sure they're not overpaying. So it'll come in handy. Michaela?
Hello, my name is Michaela Ara, and I did work for a title and escrow company up in Fresno a few years back, so I have a little bit of experience in that. And more recently, my husband and I have a couple of dry clean and alteration stores that we own here in San Diego. So I have some experience as being a business owner, which I'm realizing is very helpful in this. And a lot of what I'm learning at Ignite, I can actually think about it towards that business too. So it's amazing. And my goal for the 2018 to 2019 year would be to make 100,000. So which would roughly be around 8 sales. That's my goal for this.
8? Okay.
Yeah, 8, yes.
Make meaning gross commission income or after all expenses in your pocket?
Yes.
Okay.
After. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead. What's your name card out?
Hi, I'm just gonna crash.
Oh, you're crashing?
Yeah, I'm just a guest. I just came to check it out. Yeah, so.
Fair enough. Scott?
My name's Scott. I taught 5th grade overseas for the last 3 years, and before that, I worked in banking. And I'm going to do 15 transactions this year.
There you go. Remind me your name real quick.
Nastri.
Yes.
So we're saying quick introduction and what your goals are for real estate.
Yes, actually, I don't have my license yet. I called them and I will get it hopefully next week. But my goal is maybe 6 or 8 transactions a year.
6 to 8. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, so today's session, Find Your Business. Our goal is to help you find business. Okay, we're going to teach you how to prospect and lead generate using multiple methods. We're going to connect with potential clients and obtain referrals. As many of you, as we know by now, it is just a different language. You've got the skills already, and we're going to polish you up so that you can be successful. Okay, now the fun part, homework. The biggest challenge you will see in real estate is the fact that, like a lot of your previous jobs, you had a manager, okay? You don't have a sales manager in this unless you're on a team. Maybe you do. Most of you won't have a sales manager. So what I can do, the best favor I can do for you is be a little bit of a sales manager today and help you understand how hard you need to be on yourself, okay? I can't fire you, but you got to always imagine that you have a sales manager in this business to keep yourself accountable, okay? All right, so we're going to do our daily 10-4. We're just going to go around the room. We're going to first just report your contacts, okay? How many, somebody remind me how many you committed to? How many contacts did you commit to per week?
40.
How many?
50.
Okay. Anna, real quickly. Nothing? Oh, you're not licensed yet. Edward.
I made my goal as far as the contact, but not the notes.
Okay, we're just doing contacts right now. So you did 50 or more?
Today I did 30.
30 today, right? In the week, did you cover 50?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 41, and so I didn't get to 50.
Didn't quite get there. So what prevented you specifically from getting to 50?
Friday, I kind of took off a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Again, keep that sales manager in your mind. Gary?
63.
There you go. Good job. Is that your goal, or are you happy with that?
It's okay.
It's okay? Yeah. All right. I get a sense of that. So what's your, you guys don't have to let this be the minimum. If you're ambitious, let this be the minimum. What's your goal?
I'd probably like to double that in a week. So about 100, 120 in a week.
Awesome. All right. So you did 63? Mm-hmm. What prevented you specifically from getting 100?
guess, committing to it and then focusing on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good set.
Yeah.
A lot of this is to help you guys with routines. Routines are huge in real estate as well, because again, you can go to the beach, you can take a Friday off, and you should, but you also got to get your job done. So, Lori, contacts? None. What's preventing you from doing that?
My nephew, born.
Okay, so you had a little personal matter that took up at least 4 hours, right? Okay.
Just excuses. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't do it.
Okay. Yes, Gary.
Can I just make a statement?
You may.
So your answer, in my opinion, is always when he says, what kept you from doing it? Just say me and move on, because it is always you. You know, you can make those calls if you really want to do it, and you'll find that they're really worth it if you make them on a regular basis. Sorry.
Mojan, any calls? And if you're not licensed, we understand that you have limited what you can do, but you can still call your sphere and introduce yourself. So.
I call my sphere and I start building those EH program database, and I put as many as contact I had it in my phone. So I'm good around 50.
So you made 50 contacts?
Whatever I had it from the past. As far as new, no, I couldn't make it yet.
Okay.
But I'm going there. I'm trying. I don't know, for some reason I feel I'm a little shy on the phone.
Okay.
And I make appointment with all the people to sit and talk.
Good.
Have a coffee and talk.
We'll celebrate the direction you're going, but change your language. You can try to pick up a pen, or you can just pick up the pen, right? Okay, don't try. You're doing well, but just do it. Okay, comes with practice. Justin, oh, sorry.
Hi, Jim.
James.
I got about 40 contacts trying to reach it. I got about 40.
40?
Yes.
Okay, what prevented you from getting 50?
I'm trying to next week.
Just excuses?
More than 50.
Okay, all right. Rebecca.
I put 9 new contacts into my database, and I contacted about 12 of my friends.
Okay, let me just clear it up real quick, guys. 10 a day is the goal, right? 10 a day. And a contact is somebody that you don't know that gives you some degree of permission to stay in contact with them, however you scripted that, okay? So that's what a contact is, 10 a day. How are you going to get to 50 next week?
I'm not sure, because I don't know a lot of people here. Yeah.
Okay, talk with your mentor. There's social groups you can join, chambers of commerce, mixers, all sorts of activities to get you to build your network, right? I started with no network down here, guys. You can do it. You can either find a bunch of open houses, you can do chambers of commerce, there's all sorts of networking events, meetups, okay? If you don't have people, that's one of the easiest things to find, believe it or not. Jonathan?
No contacts.
No. What's going on?
My fault.
Just didn't pick up the phone?
No, I picked up the phone. I've made phone calls. Just knowing that I would add as contacts.
Okay, so you didn't go to your database, but you were doing something on phones?
Cold calls, yeah. I haven't called personal friends yet.
Right, but you didn't, so you cold called and didn't find anybody that...
There's 1 or 2 that are interested that I could call back, yeah. So maybe 1 or 2 contacts. I haven't inserted them into the EED yet, but yeah, I've made phone calls.
Okay.
Had open houses or shadowed open houses, but not 50 contacts.
Okay, whatever your strategy is, it sounds like you're going to have to amplify it by 5 to 10 times. Okay? Okay? You don't have your license yet, right?
Yes, but I was working on my database.
Okay. Just educating people that you're in the business?
You know, I have some of my friends, they are interested, but I'm waiting for my license.
Okay. All right. Justin?
3 within the last 24 hours, and I think 20 last week, but that was mainly from people that I could reasonably reach out to on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so more of a connection then.
Right,
Just to distinguish you guys, contacts are the people that we haven't met, and
right.
Again, you get some sort of permission to
3 actual, no contact before, just
good.
Handshake,
Okay,
nice
so
to meet
3
you.
new contacts.
Yeah, within the last 24, yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have to ramp that up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Richard.
Did not meet my goal. That's my fault.
No
excuses.
Did you do any?
Just a few, but I did go. I made it a point yesterday to go to some open houses. I hit 5 of them yesterday. That was pretty good.
Go to some open houses?
I'm sorry?
You hosted or you went to them?
I just went to just visit it. Visit 10 per week.
Okay, so you got some open houses, but you had no contacts.
I gave my card to one person that might have been interested, but he wasn't. He said he had an agent, but I did the "Can I be your second?"
Now, these are your open houses or somebody else's?
No, there's someone else's.
Okay, don't hand out cards at someone else's open house.
Well, the guy was okay with it. He said it. Really? Yeah, well, because he's.
Give me his name.
I said he had an agent.
Give me his name. No, seriously, set an MLS sub-search for that guy's open house.
He's from Orange County, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very good. You need to get going, though. Plug in. Thank you. Jen, contacts. Contacts. Did you make any contacts? Any new additions to your database?
With a few in database. I have a lot of contacts in WeChat, like the Facebook Chinese version.
Okay, some of you guys may be coming with a great database. Okay, so you're going to have more connections than contacts. That's fine. So you're not adding any new. Did you make a bunch of calls into connections?
Made some calls, but for commercial or residential, the restaurant.
It's all the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
So last week I was building my personal database, like the contacts that I had, honestly, and I got those completely organized into eEdge, which was a pretty big accomplishment for me, so I was happy about that. And I did start contacting my sphere and start letting them know what I was doing.
Okay.
So this week my goal is to reach out and make new contacts to add to my database. So cold calling and door knocking is my plan for tomorrow. So hopefully I'll have some new, fresh contacts to add.
Okay, how big is your sphere? Do you think it's large enough to sustain you?
It's not huge, no.
Okay.
It's not. I added about 75.
Okay. So be cautious of something in our business, you guys. You can be busy all the time, and you can be spinning your wheels and setting yourself up and setting yourself up and setting yourself up. Okay, so just go. That's sort of the secret. So, Scott.
I'm a little confused. What's the difference between a contact and somebody in your database?
Contact is somebody that you don't know, haven't met before, and when you make contact with them and they give you some sort of permission to stay in touch with them or establish yourself as their
But if they give you that, won't you add them to your database then?
yeah, that's a contact.
So it's the same thing.
That is a contact. A connection to make a difference is somebody you've already met that you've reached out to again, to say hello, to ask for referrals, to check in with them in some specific.
So for a lot of us, our connections kind of count as contacts because we're new.
No. You should have both. So guys, I can almost tell you guaranteed none of you have a big enough network to sustain you. You might find a deal or 3 out of your network in the immediate sense, but that's gonna be 6 months and you're out of the business, okay? So what we're trying to do here is get you to all equally reach out to those people, make connections, okay? Your connection is somebody you've already met, and now they're saying, yes, you can keep me as a connection, basically. Okay, but we're also looking for non-Mets, people you don't know, to actually get into the database, into your drip system. Quick question.
Chris, you were a new agent at one point.
Yep.
Did you go 39?
Yep.
How did you do it?
What do you mean?
How did you reach out to your habit Mets? How did you personally meet your 10-4?
Personally, I was open houses. I did 60-something the first year, as quick as you could, 2 or 3 a week.
Right.
I wasn't big on the phones. That's my personal philosophy.
Sure. Okay.
Also, just social events, chamber mixers, networking. You can hear, I mean, you guys might think they're ridiculous. You'll hear people say stories of they'll just go into Starbucks and go up to strangers and say, hey, we're doing a little competition at the office, blah, 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 blah. There's a script there.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
You can do it literally in every moment of your day if you need to find 10 contacts, okay?
Right, okay.
It's scary.
So if you wear your name badge and you just start talking to people and, you know, you ask them what business they are in. So what do you do for a living? What's the next question they're going to ask you? What do you do for a living? And when you say I'm in real estate, you just open the conversation because the next thing is going to be, what's the market like?
Right.
And so, here's your answer. Okay. Unbelievable. Because that's up or down. It's unbelievable.
It truly is. Yeah, it truly is. It truly is, because you're going to be representing both sides of the coin, guys. It is unbelievable right now. It really is. Quick question.
Yeah, I have a question. So I haven't been to the church for a long time, so now I'm trying to go back to church. But when you go to church, you don't just ask people, hey.
No, like Gary said, ask about their life first. If they don't ask about yours, then that's somebody that doesn't care, and honestly move on. But if you ask questions about other people, it's very natural that they're going to ask about your life too.
But you have the time, maybe talk to one person or two, and then church starts, and then you don't just talk to people one after one.
Show up early, volunteer. Okay. Yeah. It's you just got to get out there. You got to put more energy out there if you're not getting the results that you want. Now, church is going to have, depending on the congregation size, it's going to have a limited amount of people that you can capture out of there, right? Because you're probably not the only one, I hate to say it, but working that church. Okay? But yeah, get more involved. Go early, stay later. Okay? Just be clever with it. There's all sorts of different, so guys, go to meetup.com. Yep. Just be a person, okay? And ask about their life first, and they're going to ask about yours, okay? Scott.
So I have 4 adds to my database Thursday. I didn't get any Friday, and I had 3 this morning.
Okay. That's true. We don't have a full week, huh? No. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll take a little bit of the edge off. Okay. Good job. It sounds like you got to ramp it up a little bit more, though. Okay. All right. All right. Well, real quickly, that took a little longer than we wanted. Let's report connections, notes, and homes previewed. Ada, did you get out and do any of that? Okay. Edward.
Sorry,
Connections, notes, and homes previewed, real quick.
No.
No.
As far as previewing homes, no.
Okay, guys, okay. Keep going. I'll save my.
Yeah, got all the connections, did like more than the 50 notes because I don't know, I really like doing them. I thought it was fun. And then the homes, I only got 8. I didn't do this weekend. I was busy this weekend. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I fell off on the connections and the notes for sure.
Okay.
Had like a handful, like probably like 15 connections and like 3 notes.
Okay. 2. Cool. So it's funny, you guys, we all have different personalities that we come in with, right? Some of you are going to have an easier time reaching out to non-Mets. Some of you are going to have an easier time reaching out to Mets. The art is to practice the one that's uncomfortable for you and get better at that. Because the one that's comfortable for you, you're going to have no problem. That's going to be a good source for you. But you need both to succeed, okay? Rebecca.
I hold 2 open houses.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have time to go to the Carolines yet, so I'm going to.
What's preventing you? What is taking up your time?
It's just the morning cold calls and the afternoon door knocking, and then in the middle I got all these staff.
Okay, so you put in the time in, it sounds like.
So
all right, so just.
I'll go to the Carolines.
Okay. All right, good. James.
I prefer to 2 open houses.
Okay, no notes, no connections? Connections means reaching out to the people that love you. No? Friends, family? Okay. John, anything on that?
Yes, Saturday I was in an open house and I did the shadowing. Around the area I visit few open houses, and usually I check the preview market homes in different zip codes. As far as notes, I didn't write any notes.
Okay. I just remember something I want to tell you, Justin. Keep track of your numbers. I think you reported something saying, I think it was this, or it was about this.
It was 19 or 21. I can't remember the exact number.
That's close enough. Make sure you're logging all this stuff, guys. If you're not logging it, you're not going to have the reinforcement that you're working, because you're going to find a point in your career where it doesn't look like you're working because you're like, why isn't this working? And you need to recenter yourself on, I am doing the activities, right? Which way am I going? Lori, any of those?
No notes. I did connect with people. First soccer game this weekend.
Okay.
What else? Preview some
Previews.
new construction home.
Okay.
I can go caravan tomorrow.
Okay. Richard?
I did talk to some family. No handwritten notes, but it's a couple of emails. And then I already said I visited 5.
Okay, the family you talked to, how come you didn't send them a note?
Sorry.
The family that you did talk to, how come you didn't send them a note?
You know what? I don't have an excuse. I should have.
Just go buy some cheap notes. It's don't get hung up on what you're saying at all. Okay, it's not the note's content; it's the fact of the receiving the note that delivers 99% of the value of a note. Okay, you can listen to whoever you want to listen to, but there's a visceral reaction to receiving a piece of mail, believe it or not, because we're in an electronic world where getting mail, and it's not a bill, is actually an exciting thing. It looks like a card. You have this little kid inside you that's like, wait, what's this, right? Okay? I swear. Okay, so that's the biggest reason why you send a note is there's first of all, a visceral reaction. Second of all, you're reaffirming your professionalism and your consistency, okay? And you can drop them a business card if you have a business card, so. Okay.
How do you get people's address?
How do you get people's addresses? What are you talking about, nets or people you haven't met?
Original. Like overall, I don't know, like even my best friends, I don't have their retail.
You can look in the tax records if they own their home. If they don't own their home, you're just going to have to ask them. So it's part of the script. Part of the script is establishing yourself as their agent. You know, do you have a trusted professional in your life that you would go to if you need good information? They say no, you say great. I'm going to need your address, or can I get your email, or something. Just ask them. Okay? If they say no, I mean, that's a little strange. Your friends aren't usually going to say no to that. Okay, so just ask them. Otherwise, people that own their homes, you can look in the tax records. Sometimes people have trust, and it's a little tricky, but.
That was my question. You know, I did real quickly. Pull the name off the tax record and send them a note, and then some of them might think, how'd you get my address? You know what I mean? They remember not giving you the address, and then you got it anyway.
They're not going to.
You think it's going to happen?
They're not going to.
Okay.
If they do, they're going to see you as more likely to see you as resourceful than, you know, you're plugged in. This is your industry. You should know how to get address. Oh, sure. So if they ever said something, how'd you get my address? Like, well, I'm a realtor. I know what your mortgage is.
I know everything about you. I know how much you owe.
Yeah, exactly. Just.
Okay, so I was a little confused, I guess.
Okay.
I thought it meant add 10 contacts to your database. I didn't know that it meant personally reach out to 10 connections.
Okay.
So 10 connections that I spoke to, none.
Okay.
My caravan is tomorrow.
Okay.
So I go on that tomorrow. That's on Tuesdays. Couldn't do that last week, but I have written 30 notes.
All right. Yeah. Real quick side note, is your accountability partner in the room? Raise your hand if they are. Okay. Get with those people, get into the MLS, look for vacant houses. You don't need to wait for caravan.
Right.
Vacant houses are super easy. There's plenty of them to preview. Okay. And caravan, you probably shouldn't just do one. It's a pretty small area to actually depend on.
Take 4 zip codes.
Which one?
It's Solana Beach, Del Mar, Encinitas, Rancho Santa Fe.
Okay. Yeah. But you're only going to have one day, so how much time are you going to put into that?
The entire day.
Okay.
Not actually.
All right. I would just as a suggestion. That's great. That could be your specialty. Maybe you do want to get the caravan on the fringe as well.
Yeah.
Carmel Valley or wherever. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then again, vacant houses, easy to get into.
And that's just on the other ones.
Yeah. So okay, maybe I'm going to tell you that. Just do a search, and then in the fields where it says customize fields, you got to find the field called occupancy. Okay. Once you find the occupancy field and you add it to that search, then you can queue it for vacant homes only. Okay? That's the best way to find open houses too, guys. Nasreen, anything on connections notes?
I'm just practicing because I don't have my license yet. But.
All right. 1 second, Jonathan.
So on the vacant homes only, you look for open houses that's vacant homes only, or I can go to any vacant home. If it says vacant, I can just show up, look at it myself, and leave.
I mean, I can't say that as a blanket statement, but usually vacants in the showing instructions will say just show and go or go and try, whatever they call it.
Okay. And,
yeah, you can just go. And again, they're the best way to find an open house. You just send that agent an email saying, hey, I'm new, trying to get the grasp on this real industry. I can hold it open Wednesday from 3 to 6. Take weekdays as much as you can. It's lower turnout, but you got to practice what you're doing.
Thanks. Okay. And I went to 2 open houses, or I shot out 2 open houses this weekend. Pretty good traffic at them. And so none of those contacts are mine. And I previewed 1 home. I tried to preview some more, but they were after the open houses. So most people were closing shop already. I missed them.
Okay. All right. So just add a little bit of creativity. Like I just told you, find those vacant homes. You'll get some enough previews in. Scott.
I wrote 6 notes, no connections, and no open house. I'm planning on going to the caravan on Wednesday morning.
Okay, so how many are you going to cover in one day at the caravan?
We'll see. If I don't get that many in, then probably Saturday I'll go to the vacant ones.
So again, don't lean on the caravan, because what if it's a slow day at caravan? There's only 3 properties, which we have low inventory, right? So keep that in mind.
So I had 5 conversations with the 5 connections within my sphere, and I did send them all notes. I went to one open house that was in my neighborhood, and I viewed 10 houses on the MLS online. I thought that that was part of it. Does it have to be, can we better than nothing? We can preview them online, but it's better to go in person.
Better than nothing, because what you're going to realize is pictures are very clever. Yeah. I mean, you'll even get better at seeing what a picture is and know that it's refaced cabinets versus new cabinets in the kitchen. But those are the things you're going to miss. You know, the cracks in the drywall. You know, those kind of things don't show up in pictures. So the real condition, which can fluctuate the house 5 to 10%, which is a big margin. So it's better than nothing, but try and get there in person. Okay. Jen? Previews?
One overhaul yesterday.
Okay.
There's a lot of traffic yesterday.
Okay, we got to get rolling here. I'm going to go through the next list. Just raise your hands if you did your homework in terms of completing your KW White Pages profile. You guys? Okay, all right. Let's get that done. Activate your eEdge account. Not hard, takes a couple minutes. Okay, good. Activate your brand and brand your KW mobile search app. It's very important, the easiest tool to.
Sorry, so I said in the last class, I have a problem with my app right now, and tech support is working on it. Tech session earlier. Okay. So it should be within the next couple of days, they said, but so I can't brand it right now.
Okay. That'll be good. Okay. Did you guys watch your KW technology checklist video? Raise your hand high if you did. If you didn't, you need to know that you need to do your homework. Watch leads to clients with the touch campaigns, another video.
I couldn't find these videos. I don't know if anybody else is on there.
Okay, that's good to hear. Talk with your mentor. They'll direct you to where these are. Okay. And then one more video. Watch Send the Right Message at the Right Time. Again, anybody? No?
I think it's
They're
a
on the
little
list.
different on that online.
Is it titled different now?
It's just in a different form.
Oh, is it okay?
I think this is an old. Yeah,
Could be.
we're on the old one. So.
Okay. All right, so you guys are doing all right. Again, the best thing I can tell you is take it a little bit more serious and to do your homework, okay? All right, so now we got to do, up out of your seats, we're going to do the daily affirmation on page 8. Up out of your seats, get your diaphragm open. Edward's a professional speaker.
Yes, I am. And I can be hired affordably.
Okay, guys, on the top of page 8, you can see in the bold letters it says opportunities come easily to me. Okay, this is very important. It's going to get your mindset right. We're going to do it 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Opportunities come easily to me.
Opportunities come easily to me.
Opportunities come easily to me.
Okay, good job. Let's have a seat. Get your phone out. You guys hopefully brought your lists, right? You're supposed to do your homework, bring a list of people to contact, right? Show of hands if you did not and do not have a list right now. Okay, you have your phone with you?
Yes.
Okay, so you got your list, you have your phone? You don't have a phone?
My list with me, I don't have.
Good, then you got your list. Okay, so what I mean to say is you've all got a list that you can call on, right? Right? Right. Okay. So we're going to use the scripts that they gave you on day 1. There's also some scripts here, but you should have already practiced and know the scripts from day 1. So let's use those. You don't have to take 2 steps back here before we take 1 step forward. We're going to call for 20 minutes. You're going to contact as many people as possible, and you're going to log the results, okay? You guys got me?
Yeah.
Okay, don't need to leave the room. It's okay if it sounds like you're in a call center. You're in a sales business. We're not going to hold it against you, okay? All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
The time is 1:36, so we got 20 minutes. Go ahead and start calling. I'm going to do the same. A lot of talking going on. Come on, guys, stop.
Hey man, it's Justin.
Sorry,
I saw that you completed that program and I just wanted to congratulate you. All right, give me a call back soon. All right, bye.
This is friendship.
No, I'm doing really well. I'm just at work right now. How's charity right now? How's charity doing?
Well, I'll go through my phone. Let's see if I can find. Curiosity, how's it
How
working?
charity is
That's
doing?
I got the new
Doing
house.
all
You're all
right?
settled in. I know that you're there. Oh, well, you're at a plus minimum baby. Hey, but just out of curiosity, do you know of anybody that is looking to buy or sell a home?
Yeah, really.
So kind of throw my name out there.
Yeah,
Of course, it's agent.
Hey, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, is she?
I'm good, good. How's the family doing?
Sure. Do you have my contact information on your phone?
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
Hey, I'm good.
So is she
I'm
gonna be getting
actually
her,
over at work here. I
yeah,
just started a
homecoming then?
career as a real estate agent. So I'm thank you very much. So I'm supposed to reach out to all of my friends, family, and just
I love your age.
Very cool. You're gonna love my wife. And I know you guys.
No, you know,
So
take-
you guys are
Yeah. Actually,
The same spelled the same way. Gary Pullen is,
right now, so I
was the president, might be our new,
just
right
to
now?
see, like,
yeah.
if you,
Nice.
anybody
Get my name on the map.
Yeah, I dropped that like you knew that well.
I think I'd like kind of refer them
Oh,
to me.
is that kind of by the mission or is that closer to the beach?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, no, wait, so is my mom coming out all the time?
Yeah, I think it is. I'll have to see.
Okay. What's up, Louis? Just had a couple questions for you. Hit me back when you can. Thanks.
Okay.
Definitely not. Gary Cologne. Someone's working with the president.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's spelled the same way, but it might, how do you pronounce it?
It's Cologne. Cologne.
Cologne?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should say pronounce it cold.
And so I'm in the agent there. I'm just waiting.
Maybe like A. I'm not sure how to
Next week. What's his first name?
Gary.
Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
know it's really exciting. It's really exciting. I like it here. So far, it's like there's a lot of training that we get to, which is one of the things I really like about it. So they're just like
I think he was going to be up for the Fed chair.
Thank you. What's up, dude? How are you? All right. Yeah, you too. Bye. Nice. Are you getting charged up or what?
okay. Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, dude.
Sounds good.
Just wanted to ask for your address and then wanted to know if you possibly are anyone who's looking to sell or buy a home.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, that's great. Talking to you soon. All right, bye.
Including yourself. Including yourself.
Thinking about making a move in the next 2 to 3 months.
Investment properties, right?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know she had her surgery. I remember that, but I didn't know she
Big
had
day.
surgery for it, she was saying. They didn't
Following
do
you on
it.
Facebook, I saw you had a great time in Alaska. But what's up? You give the name in real estate now as well. So if you do know of anybody that's looking to either buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, so I understand my name. Great.
Actually good.
Anybody at the facility,
I'm gonna
also
go see
the market would be great.
I pretty much have to go see like at least 10 homes a week. So I'll basically keep an eye out for that. To see if there's anything that I think should help. Then what's your address? You want to send me something?
Take care.
Marbell. Oh, Carmel View. Yeah. Like Carmel Ranch.
I definitely want to catch up with you. I'm gonna have to probably give you a call tomorrow and we'll get back to the personal stuff.
Oh.
But
Yeah, I can try.
All right, cool. 3767 Carmel View there.
thank you so much.
Oh, you spoke to an associate of mine in regard to the property you're selling in Southeast Escondido.
Have a lot of
Cool.
interesting and information about the
Oh,
real estate
okay, so
market, and I would just
I don't know.
love
Do you have time to update me on what
All right,
your
cool.
message
I'll
was
look it up.
intended to say?
And then I have Tony's number and stuff too, so I'll hit her up if I come across anything.
keep me in mind.
Okay. All right, Marie. Thank you very much.
And after you download the app and try it out.
All right, cool.
Let me know how you like it.
Thank you, Colin. All right, man. Thanks, bye.
Awesome, sounds great.
All right.
I think you're ready tomorrow.
Pretty good.
Thank
Get
you.
you at that time. All right, how's that going? You're practicing law now?
I'll let you know who we know.
I kind of wanted to just update you guys. So you know, I was living in Washington State.
Because that decision in a person's life often comes
I just moved back about a year ago.
I'll let you know that you're a trusted person. Reach out to you. That might warm it up more.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you. So,
John, calling you Rasoul. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate.
I just wanted to extend my service.
Oh, you can find it on Google. And I'm looking in this area right now because I have a client that's in the buying and script ranch area. So I'm just calling the neighborhoods and seeing if you know anyone who's thinking about making a move sometime. No? All right. How about you guys? You plan on moving?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thanks for talking with me. You have a great day.
Anyway, I'm just mentioning those that I have.
I was very,
Maybe if you know someone's looking to either buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate.
yeah, that
So my life was yeah. Throw my name up there. Have a great day, sir. Talk to you.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Yeah, actually, that's funny you mentioned that. That's what I'm supposed to be calling and telling you. This little class.
hard to leave through. Yeah, he's been doing it a little bit longer than me.
So they're always considering, I think, either yes, they do or
Yeah.
yes, I do, trust you.
Think about it, you know, if you have anybody in mind, or I don't know what your guys'
Oh, yeah, where are you guys talking about?
But again, that's kind of a dead end.
Oh, yeah, you guys are still over. You guys are still off of like Allen, right? Poinsettia, right?
You know, I just
Oh, yeah, awesome. And did you have like a certain place that you might wanted to check out? Like,
So, I wow, fat. Some people like, some people are like, oh yeah, I have two people who are like, yeah, we're looking to buy and
well, you know what?
Okay, so you get someone that says, yeah, we've got a need in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's this like.
Okay, well, if I were you, I would still try and get to the point and bring your mentor. So some of these deals in the beginning,
all the stuff that you posted, and I'm so excited.
license you're gonna have.
Like,
Yeah.
That's it.
So
It looks like you got a pretty sweet pad up there.
also proceed to saying, you know, so they say they're buying
Oh,
something.
no way.
They're still gonna be buying.
You're looking to buy. So what I would typically say is, okay, that's great, you know, just in case you don't know, that inventory is really low right now, and so what I would advise is that we get together sooner than you think we need to. Because my clients that start their searches earlier have better results because there's just not a lot of houses to look at. They usually know what to look for, so that when they find it, plug into it. And again, it's just trying to book the appointment. Basically. So you say, they say, you know, that sounds good. And you say, I'm coming to your office. Until you do contracts in place. So you can still establish a network. I wouldn't say anything about your license.
I'll hit you up later.
Because they're not going to ask
tell Laura that
what they did, but they said, okay, well, specifically, what is more?
Yeah, so
you know what, I'm not to go into that with details. Let's get to the office, I want to show you what we're looking at on the screen here, learn a little bit more about research, so I'm not just blinded information. Okay? This is Chris Caldwell. Is Max available? Max, again, my name is Chris Caldwell. You spoke to an associate of mine a few days back in regard to real estate here in San Diego County. And real estate in San Diego, it sounds like the message given to me is that you might be looking for a place in El Cajon or Spring Valley. And is that, are you actively looking for that? Okay. Well, great. We specialize in helping people find homes in San Diego. Would you like to get together sometime this week and we can learn a little bit more about your search and see if our services line up to what you're looking for? Okay. Okay. I hear you. Don't worry. That seat's going to feel great in this hot weather. Well, have you gotten pre-qualified? Have you started the process at all?
Anyway, in real estate, this
Hey,
okay, great. So you get the VA and you have the full available loan amount?
You did.
Okay.
Well, congratulations.
Well, awesome, Max. So how about I touch base with you? Is it early next week or later next week?
Yeah, hey, so I'm in this new career. I'm in real estate right now. Yeah, you saw that?
Okay, well, we'll take a look at what you're looking for.
So
And,
I'm in this class.
we're straight shooters, so we'll learn about what you can get.
So, yeah, I actually, you might know. Did your parents ever talk about it? You're tested. Yeah, like a house.
Is in labor?
That's recorded too.
Yeah.
No.
All right, well, perfect. I hope everything goes well with the plans, the wedding and whatnot, and I'll touch base with you next week.
Yeah, part of
What's
it.
that? Okay.
I mean, you know, I'm willing to help anyone. So I
I don't know what it's
anybody's
technically
name that
called.
you're comfortable with.
We can look it up.
Yeah, but she's
Yeah.
looking
Well,
well. I saw Kathy like a
basically,
month
we'll
ago.
get together with you, and I want to introduce you to my buyer's agent, who will be the person leading your search. And we'll learn more about what you're looking for, what the areas are, and again,
Oh, no way.
we'll help you find it. Okay? All right, thanks, Mac.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. Oh, okay. Well, how are you doing? What are you doing now?
Is that what you do?
Well, yeah. Oh, lost. Congratulations. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you just graduated. You know. Nice.
Yeah. You got the connections that you already have, so you can text them too.
Yeah, okay, well, at some point here, we should catch up, because I'm going to downtown and see this every couple of weeks here. Yeah, Paris and I go down there all the time. I'm surprised I haven't seen you yet, actually. Oh, did you really? That's so fun. Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll let you play, all right? All right, bye.
Hey, Ashley, how are you? Actually, no, Kate. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Is there right now? I'll let you know, okay? Well, hey, I'm
Where is that?
Huh?
Not great.
It's not really a good name.
you know, I
Alright.
thought I would
So it's like a permanent.
in San Diego. I'm obviously trying to grow my business. So at the moment, I'd like to kind of tell you what I got going on a little bit here. Is that okay? Okay. So first, I would love to share some real estate out with you. So you are hopefully you're willing to share with your family. Happy that you have out there, but even people in Fresno can help out if they have. But you can see what's going on anywhere from Bruce Street to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you, and I can just send you a text so you can link to it. It's really easy. And I would love to ask, do you know anybody, anybody that's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate? All right, awesome. All right. Do they own a house right now? Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll definitely have to contact Jeanette and see if I can help her out at all and send her over this great app. Like I said, it's not just for San Diego, it's all of North America. So it's actually a really super user-friendly app.
Is Miss Toma available?
All right, sorry about that.
Mrs. Toma? Caldwell, how are you doing?
But yeah, so there's a lot of great organizations there in Fresno.
Finish?
So I actually just changed brokerages. I decided to call you back.
So I have a lot of interesting information.
So now with Keller Williams Realty. And it's Cedar Springs over here.
Hey, Jonathan.
And Scripture Ranch. And,
not too much, chilling.
But I mean, obviously,
2 minutes, everyone.
You going to volleyball today?
I just wanted to call you and update you on that.
Okay. I can't believe that we got kicked out for the weekend.
Do you think that I would be able to maybe give your brother a call?
I have, so I'm going to be using my cell phone in the bank.
That would be awesome.
Right now I'm using my email,
Kind of break down
personal
this
email.
business and get my feelers out there and see where everything needs me.
Hey,
Justin. That would be
And
so.
I do have a KW email. And I just created a website actually, richardbarnum.com. If you want to visit that, you could.
Hey, how you doing?
After you download it, just try it out.
You don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's me.
Yeah. So what is your email?
Sure, I wish I could go. Yeah, are you still over? I didn't realize that some of you guys are from where we play. We're gonna go down there.
Nothing much. I'm actually out of my other job. I just started a new soccer today. Actually, it's kind of having one.
And 3 years ago, yeah, my second time to go I'm actually calling some part for the real estate stuff. I get the pleasure of starting to annoy all my friends, asking them if they actually have any, if they know if it's a real estate agent. So,
Where do you get your leads from or your numbers from? Like you're getting
could be a friend, could be a coworker, maybe
company.
Send someone out to San Diego to live here, buy a home, just anything.
I actually hired them to do the first level of phone calling. And then they send me a list of opportunities that might be there, and I call up and sort of see if it's real. Sometimes the language, sometimes it doesn't translate right, but that's where. But in the beginning, dude, I didn't do anything. It was just, right now, no, inventory is really too.
Aside from our friends, I know,
yeah, once you get into it.
So,
just look at the homes, right now, this real quick.
And then email or text.
Email the independent brokers, so the non-Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway. There's a bunch of independents.
Okay.
Those are more likely to let you have the house open. Okay. Definitely out of area, so you can do a quick search, see if you see colleagues in code or something that's not San Diego. Those are prime.
If they're from out of
the area, they'll let you do their vacancies.
All right. Here,
okay, let's wrap it up, everybody.
What's a good email for you? I'd rather keep it whenever I see a volleyball.
I used to do.
I can just do this.
I did very few weekends. The weekends are more fruitful in terms of people coming in the door. But you don't have as much time to talk to them. So the weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
3 to 6.
It was like 6 to 10 guests, you know, over the 3 hours.
Well, every day.
But you had like 15 minutes with each guest to actually talk
And
to
you're
them.
calling people while you're there, right?
Yeah, you're bringing your computer, you're getting all this other stuff done you have to do. Yeah, 3 to 6 because you get the after school crowd, you get the after work crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got to move on.
Since I can't do it, do you understand? Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'll shoot you a quick email, and then it'll come from my KW email. Perfect. And then if you want to send me their information, I'll reach out to them to see if they need a real estate agent. If not, I won't bother them. And yeah, if anyone ever comes to mind, that'd be awesome.
Just let me know if you can think.
Yeah.
Okay, step out. Okay, guys, we gotta get going.
I should be there Saturday also.
I look forward to seeing you. Couple quick things that I heard from you guys. First of all, let's start correcting how you're asking questions, okay? Don't ask somebody, do you know somebody who's gonna buy or sell real estate in San Diego, okay? It's a yes or no, dead-end question. Most people are gonna say no because they don't wanna be on the phone with you, okay? Who do you know puts them in the mindset of searching their Rolodex, okay? Second of all, if you do have an opportunity that actually seems like it's there, the question shouldn't be, can we get together? You know, can we get together next week? Okay, because then again, you're asking a yes or no question. My best recommendation there is, it's kind of tricky, but you say, is there any reason why we shouldn't get together? So it makes them actually rack their brain for a reason to tell you. And most people are not that confrontational to actually find a reason to tell you. They might give you lip service, but nevertheless, it's going to be more effective than a yes or no question. Okay. Third thing, first and last name. Okay, guys. When you call down your list, I don't care if it's going to actually feel better even if it's your sphere of influence. First and last name. Okay, because it's going to establish you outside the box of a friend and establish you as a professional. Okay. All right. Real quick, you guys, we're not going to have time right now to write notes, but make a note for the calls that you just made, the contacts that you made. We want to write 2 to 3 notes to those people. It's not hard. Great talking with you. Love catching up, whatever it might be. Send those notes after class to those people, okay? All right, Mr. Rasoul's in here. Before we give him the mic or the stand here, we've got to get our head in the game here. So I want to hear from some of you guys. Why is active lead generation important? It's kind of a open-ended question here, but what do you guys think? Let's hear from somebody. Why is active lead generation important?
It's the #1 priority in your business.
Why then?
How you're going to get business.
You get business, right?
Database.
Also helps you establish some consistency, okay? The hardest thing, and Sam can attest for this, the new people that come into business, they might find something, they stop working, and then they have nothing after it closes. And they find something, and nothing after it closes. And so you do 3 deals a year, and then you're out of the business, okay? You got to be able to do consistent active lead generation, okay? Now, what do you think is different about lead generation of successful agents compared to not so successful agents? What do you think the difference is between the lead generation habits of a successful agent to a non-successful agent? Scripts could be one of them, for sure. The language of our business, yes?
Numbers.
Numbers, meaning just doing it more?
Like understanding your numbers and exactly like where your time is going.
Sure. And then again, you want to keep track of that stuff so you know your activities, so you see that you're putting the work in. The neat thing about that question, you guys, is in the real core of that question, there isn't anything different that they're doing. Sam just does it more, and he's better at it because he's been doing it longer. Okay? So the thing is consistency and execution. Okay? All right, with that being said, Sam Rasoul is here. He's going to take you through the lesson of today, teach you all about finding your business. Let's hold questions until Sam permits them or till the end, okay, because we don't have much leeway on time, okay? Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right, Sam, it's all yours.
Thank you.
You want to be here or there?
I'll just move around. I don't know how you run your classes. It's your class. Do you want to facilitate or just hang out? Or?
Yes, sir, I'm hanging out right here.
Okay. Well, hi to everybody. I know some of you, so welcome those of you that I know. Some of you I don't know. How many new people, like within a year? Really high. Okay, so pretty much everybody in the room is new. Even Brian Hoffman, he's new. He doesn't know it yet. So I've been around a long time here. I rarely follow the script here. I follow scripts, but we can do it however you guys want. I think what I would like to do is just tell you a little bit about me, my background, my business that I've done, how I've done it, and then keep it kind of loose and flowy. Let you guys ask questions. I'll talk to you about kind of the simplicity of the business, how I see it, and then you can interject and ask questions as you want to go along. Fair enough? Okay. So how many of you here are in the real estate business? Really high. Okay. Almost everybody in the room. Okay. Now, did you notice I did not raise my hand? I am not in the real estate business. I'm in the lead generation. I'm in the lead generation business. Okay. That's a very, very, very distinct difference between my mindset and most agents' mindsets. Most agents come into the business thinking they're in the real estate business. The real estate portion of this is just the product that we sell. Okay. But ultimately, I'm in the lead generation, the lead conversion, right? And then ultimately, the lead servicing piece of it. The lead servicing is really the real estate business, right? But the lead generation is what I'm in. I'm in the lead generation business. So I'll just give you a little background on me. So I started in real estate in 1995, right? Pretty much right out of college. I did not intend to be a real estate agent. My degree is in public relations from San Diego State. I have no idea why that ever happened. I got into real estate by chance. I was my wife's uncle was a realtor, still is a realtor out in East County, a big producer at that time. He was doing 70, 80 units a year, which at that time was a mega producing agent out in East County. I went to work for him because I didn't have a job coming out of college, and I was his marketing director. And then I got my license, and I quickly realized that I'm really good at finding and converting business, and that just developed into a partnership with him, and it kind of grew from there. I stayed with him for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and then I didn't really want, I didn't want to be in a partnership. I'm going to give you the short story. I didn't really want to be in a partnership. I really did not enjoy real estate at all. I left the business for about 2 years and became a licensed commercial pilot. I was going to become a pilot. I was going to become a commercial pilot. So that was my direction. My brother flies for American Airlines, and that was what I wanted to do. And so I went through that whole process of becoming a commercial rated pilot. And then, ironically enough, today's 9/11. 9/11 happened, and that pretty much stopped my career from being a pilot. So went back into real estate and went back on my own, and knew just enough that I learned enough over those 4 or 5 years from him that I understood the business enough to know that how to do it. And I became a lead generator and just went full steam ahead in the lead generation business. And the rest is history. So here I am today. My team and I will close about 120 transactions this year. Last year we closed 107, give or take. Many years of closing, 40, 45, 50 over the years on my own. When I was doing it, just me and one assistant pretty regularly. Where we were 35 was the lowest number I can recall ever doing on my own. So it can be done on your own. You can absolutely do it on your own, and you can do high numbers. But of course, my business grew and developed and became what it is today. I have a very small team. It's me. I have 2 administrative people, and I have 2 salespeople on my team. So it's really 3 salespeople and 2 acting people. So we're not gigantic by any means. And our model really has grown from when I started, heavy calls. Just getting deals however we can get them. And I was on the phone 5-6 hours a day, every single day. I mean, 50 contacts for me that was the minimum standard. And I was making 40, 50 contacts every single day for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And it evolved from there, grew into a bigger business, and then it grew into an area where I could have a farm area. And when you get some money, you can do some different things. So it just developed over time to what it is today, which is a well, in my opinion, a very well-balanced business of lead generation through the old system, door knocking, calling. Now we have a big database, a big sphere, so we have a lot of business coming in through that. We have a lot of business coming in through internet, and we just have grown into whatever the market is, and we've found things that work well for us. Not everything works well for everybody, and for you guys, you just have to kind of figure out where you are in your business and have the right models in place that are going to work for where you are today. Fair enough? Okay, so let's just start with, we'll just start with what I see as kind of the 4 L's. Some of you heard me talk about the 4 L's. You've got, you guys see this? Probably not, because I put it over here in the corner. Okay, we'll start over. Okay, so we have lead gen. My handwriting is terrible, so you have to get over that. Lead follow-up. Lead conversion. And lead servicing. So this is kind of how I view the entire business in these four categories, right? Each of them are important. Some of them are more important than others, but they're all intertwined. They're all tied together. I think the mistakes that a lot of agents make in the business starting out is they spend a lot of energy here. Okay? They spend a lot of energy trying to figure out how to service business, right? They spend so much energy here's what I mean by servicing business. Okay? If you don't have any business, you really, in my opinion, how much energy should you be spending on really understanding contracts? Oh, Gary's back here. He's lots. Let me just rephrase the question. Okay, we'll just talk about lead service. Give me some examples. What's lead service? What was that? Give me some thoughts on that. What is that about?
List an appointment.
Okay, maybe.
Lead servicing, it's when you follow up with the client on if something's actually happened, right?
Make it simple. A seller. What do we do for sellers?
Stage.
What's the servicing part? You're going to have photography. You're going to have staging. You're going to have a sign. You're going to have flyers. You're going to have a lot of stuff going on, right, for lead service. There's a lot going on, right? You need a website, right? You need all of these things. So much stuff going on there, right? But what if you don't have any listings? I mean, so I focused on getting overwhelmed with leads first. Okay? 80% of the time was about finding new leads. It's still about that. Okay? Because once I found enough leads and I followed up on them and I converted them, okay, I was always trained. I could pretty quickly figure out what to do with them. It wouldn't take much to figure out, oh crap, I just signed a listing contract. What's next? Well, I got to get a sign in the yard. How do I do that? Okay? Well, figure it out. It won't take but about 2 seconds to figure that out. I need a website. Okay, great. Let's figure that out really quickly. But I think agents take most agents take the reverse process. They spend a lot of energy getting ready. And they're getting their websites ready, and they're getting the marketing ready, and all these things ready here, but they have nothing going on here. Right? So they're spending the energy in the wrong places. So you want to be careful with that. What's the most important? what's the most important? Forget about lead generation, but in these two, which is more important, lead follow-up or conversion? Why?
Most agents don't follow up.
Most agents don't follow up. Yeah. This is probably the most important area, right, that you really have going on right here. Then this is probably a close number 2. Because if you're not good at follow-up, and you're not good at conversion, okay, are you going to lead generate? You're not going to lead generate very much. Because if you lead generate, okay, and you find leads, but you're not following up on them, and then they end up listed with me, you're kind of disappointed because you're like, what the heck? That was a waste of my time. And then you wonder why. Well, it's because you didn't follow up. But let's say you're good at follow-up, but you're really bad at conversion. Okay? So you spend all this time lead generating, and you followed up. You're on these people day after day after day after day after day, and you finally got an appointment. You go on the appointment, next day they get listed with me. How motivated are you now to lead generate? Now you're not very motivated. Now you notice we haven't talked about any of this yet. The lead servicing part. This will happen. You'll learn how to do this really well. Up here is where things matter. So the area to really, lead generation is probably the easiest part of all of this. I hate to say that. It's the easiest thing to do, but the hardest thing to do. Right? Because really, it's not that complicated. So just knock on people's doors and say, hi, you think about selling a home? No, you know anybody? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so that's lead generation. That's not that complicated. Then they raise their hand and say, yeah, I am thinking about selling. Now what do you got to do? Now you got to be really good in this area. Right? You got to be really good here. You got to know what to do, when to follow up, how to follow up, right? And how to convert. So you got to spend time here learning how to convert, and you got to spend time here learning how to follow up. And I think you got to spend very little time worried about how you're going to service the lead, because you're going to figure that out pretty quickly. If you find a buyer, you found a buyer, you followed up on them, they really like you, they want to come into the office and sign a contract with you, now you have a buyer, well, how hard is it going to be to figure out what to do next? Find some homes and go show them the property. You know? And you're going to get better at this over time if you have enough what? Leads. If you have enough of this. You're going to get really good at this. So you see how they're all kind of tied together? You know, and agents they lose sight of the most important thing, which is being really good here and being really consistent here. Okay, so just think about what I just said there. Here you're really good. This is a skill base. This is a consistency base. And lead generation has some skill involved, but not that much. It doesn't really take that much to talk to a lot of people and get someone to raise their hand. It does take a lot of skill to be really good at follow-up. And it takes even way more skill to be really good at conversion. And then here, this is easy. You'll get really good at this pretty quickly because you'll have so much of it going on that you'll be really good at it. Justin?
If you could boil these 3 down, lead gen, lead follow-up, and lead conversion, would you primarily say the skills to practice for these scripts?
Conversion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're going to practice anything, you got to practice conversion. If you're super confident, if you just got your skills down and you're practicing conversion, you're going to be really excited about teeing up opportunities. You're not going to be afraid. You're going to be like, man, if I just had a couple of more opportunities, I already know I can follow up. I'm so good at that. And I've got this down. Then your only problem becomes this. The best problem to ever have is if this is your only problem. But new agents, they got a lot of problems. Right? I'm just being honest with you. But the problem they're focused on is the wrong problem. They're typically focused on the wrong problem. They're typically focused on, they're panicked about, oh my gosh, what do I do if I get a listing?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, how am I going to, look, if I had to open up an escrow, which I've done maybe twice in 20 years, like literally, I don't know how to open an escrow. I mean, I literally would, I'd call the escrow company, and I've done it a couple times, and they don't like it. Because they know me, they're like, what do you mean? What do you need? My staff's not here. They're like, what do you mean, what do we need? And I don't know how to open escrow. Okay, well, send us the contract and send us the people's information. But I don't, I'm just using that as an example. And this is here, right? Okay, so practicing conversion is really, really the most important thing. Carl.
On the conversion part, so I see a lot of scripts on lead generation and a lot of tools. I don't see, maybe I'm just missing it. I don't see as many scripts on conversion. Is there a source for that?
I think you can probably answer that. There's tons of sources on conversion. Practicing your listing presentation, practicing your buyer consultation.
Okay, I see.
Guys, objections. Handling objections is going to help you convert people into listing with you. So that's probably your main source of conversion. I'm asking you the question.
Handling objections, well, maybe not. Okay, when you get really good, by the time you get to here, guess how many objections I usually have? Not a whole lot. Okay, not a whole lot of objections because number one, I have enough leads. My follow-up scripts and dialogues and questions are so good, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that, that by the time I get here, there's not a whole lot of objections left because what top producers do differently is we're not, when we're lead following up, I don't think that's a word, is that a word, lead following up? When we're in the process of following up, we are in the process, me, are in the process of disqualifying, you should write that down, of disqualifying the lead. The questions that I'm asking them are designed to disqualify them. Okay? What's a disqualifying question? Give me an example of a disqualifying question.
Are you pre-approved?
That's a disqualifying question. Okay? Possible. Okay. What's another disqualifying question?
Are you thinking about selling in the next 6 months?
That is disqualifying. If my definition of a lead says that it has to be 6 months or less, if they say, yeah, we're thinking about selling in 3 years, guess how many more questions I'm asking?
None.
That's 0. We're down to the conversation. That's it, because my definition of a lead is 6 months or less. Yours could be a year or less. What's another disqualifying type question? And you happen to be learning scripts while we're doing this. Hearing. So when you list your home, do you have someone specific that you're going to list the home with? Say yes, my brother Steve.
Yes, Steve, my brother.
You also, so your brother in real estate?
Yes.
Oh, Steve, we have a really bad. So Gary, sorry. We're never getting to here. I might ask one more question, just to be sure, because sometimes what they're really saying in that is, well, you haven't really convinced me that I like this conversation, so I'm just going to tell you that I'm listening with my brother Steve. I might probe a little further and just say, so now Gary, selling a home with a family can really be tricky. I'm one of the top agents in the county here. Are you certain you want to list with a family member? Now, if they hesitate and they go, well, I don't know, I consider it. We're going to the next disqualifying question. So, but what I'm trying to show you, but if you're doing this correctly, most of the time, by the time you get to here, there's not a whole lot of objections left. You're talking about just a few things potentially that they want, that if you can give it to them, you're going to get the deal. But that all happens up in here with that really good follow-up when you're willing to ask a lot of very good questions. You're only willing to ask a lot of those questions if you have a lot of what? Leads. Right? If you have a lot of leads, you're willing to watch a lead walk out the door. You're willing to have someone say to you, I'll only list with you if you hold my house open every single day for the next 21 days. Now, if I got a lot of leads, guess what I'm going to say? That's just not something we're doing. But if it's my only lead and my only potential listing, guess what I'm going to say?
Yes.
Sure. Yep. No problem. I'll hold you open every single day until it sells. And then guess who is now going to spend the next 80% of their time doing it? You are now stuck in this little trap right here. Now you're stuck in this trap. Now you're doing open house, you're servicing. You're killing yourself servicing. Guess what you're not doing? Uh-oh. But then you get lucky and you do one of these 25 open houses and you get a lead. Now you're excited. Right? It's a buyer. And guess what they want to do? They want to look at 500 homes from here to Temecula. And what do you say? Okay, fine. That's your only that's your only lead. Now you're up in Temecula showing homes. And you got a seller who wants an open house the next day. Guess where you're living? You're living right here. So you solve that problem by having a lot of this going on.
So can I say one thing, Sam?
Sure.
That's probably one of the most important things that you can remember is that, because that's what happens to people is they don't have any leads and they latch onto somebody that's not a real seller or a real buyer, and then they waste their time. Then they don't have time. You're too tired to go back and lead generate because you've been spending all your time doing this. So, he's going to give you a lot of good information, but in my opinion, that's probably one of the most important things. So if you have no leads and they want you to do 21 open houses, maybe you ought to think that you have a lot of leads, because what it's going to do is tie you up and then you're not going to be lead generating again.
How many leads do you guys think I have at any given time? 5 at most. At most. There's only 5 people that I'm laser focused on any given time. And we might have leads floating around our system and our database and stuff coming in from Zillow or whatever, but there's probably 5 at any given time that my 100% attention is being paid to. The rest of them are around, like right now, there's one guy that I know is going to sign a contract in the next 24 hours. Guess who gets all my attention? That guy. That guy got a text from me at 9 o'clock. Don, how's it going? Just want to check in with you. Any questions about it? Blah, blah, blah. And there's 15 other people in my system. That guy, I know that guy is going to do something right now. How do I know that? Because I asked a lot of questions. Because when this happened here, that guy, I couldn't disqualify him. All the things he said to me was, yeah, I want to sell. Yeah, I'm retiring. Yeah, I need my money out of the house. Yeah, you're the guy for the job. Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that guy gets all my attention. Okay. The guy that said to me, yeah, we're probably not ready for a few more weeks and we're going to, I'm not going to ignore them, but they're not a top priority. Jonathan.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, at what point do you say, even for us, where we know, okay, if he wants me to hold open houses, I know it's an extreme example, but open houses 4 times a week, we're not going to get to lead gen all that time. At what point should we say as new agents, like, all right, I'm not going to be able to do my main job. I shouldn't take this listing, even if it could possibly be a sale.
Okay. So let's just use that example. That's not the conversation I'm having with that guy. The conversation I'm having with that guy. The reason he said to you, I want an open house every single day for the next 21 days is because you haven't convinced him that you can sell the home with 0 open houses or anything. You haven't shown him any value at all. So he's just going off of what he thinks needs to be done. So my conversation will be, Jonathan, just out of curiosity, what makes you think that having 21 open houses will cause your home to sell? So we're having a conversation. Well, I read, blah, 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 and whatever. And then I can't do all the scripts right now, but I'd come back with, only 2% of homes actually sell at open houses. It sounds to me like the most important thing to you, Jonathan, is getting your home sold in 21 days. Is that right? So if I could show you a business model that I could get your home sold reasonably well within the next 30 to 60 days at the price you want with 0 open houses, would you consider hiring me today? Okay, great. So what time can we meet Thursday at 3? Very different conversation, right? So you think I just learned that script? No, I learned how to structure that script over a long period of time. But I'm ready to ask the next question because I know the outcome that I want. Right? I know the outcome I want to have. So I have my outcome defined, and with that outcome defined, I'm going to ask questions to lead that person to the outcome that I want. Fair? Someone raise their hand. I need people other than Justin and Jonathan, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to
You
say.
got a lot of people over here. Come on, raise your hands.
You know, for a well-established agent, that is obviously your main focus, doing the business that's going to happen now. For someone that's just starting, fast business is not something that's always easily found. Mm-hmm. So how do you go about nurturing the seeds that you know are going to come about in 4 to 6 months?
Okay. So you based on the way you structured the question, let's do a script. So Justin, based on how you asked the question, I'm hearing you say that you don't think that you could actually do both things at one time, right? Having leads that you're nurturing and leads that can convert right now. Is that correct?
I'm just saying I don't have it.
But you could do both, right?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
So your question is, how would I do this piece?
Right.
Okay, I would do this piece in a way that does not interfere with this piece.
Okay.
What I would not do is be so focused on the nurturing piece that I lose sight of the right now business. Because the nurturing piece will happen, but if you're totally focused on that, you could be nurturing and nurturing and nurturing, and guess what's going by over here? Listing, 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 listing out the door.
Right.
I mean, at some point, you got to turn your head and go, oh, I need to focus on that. Okay, and the nurturing stuff it'll happen, and you kind of keep up on it. And those are systems questions. You need to have some very simple systems questions in place. They don't have to be complicated, tickler systems. Look, what do people want when it comes to follow-up? Someone says to you, you know what, we're probably not going to do it until January. You know what, Justin? Hey, thank you so much. Just out of curiosity, why would you wait till January?
Because I have a job transfer in January.
Okay, and I totally respect that. So why don't we do this? I'm going to send you a note in the mail with my business card. I'll follow up with you in November just to touch base and update you on the market. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, and just so I'm clear, and just you and I talking, is it fair for me to ask you, would you just promise me that if you decide to go sooner than January, would you at least give me an opportunity to have a chance to run your business? That's fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have your commitment on that? Okay, great. So now, I've got his commitment. I sent him a card. Now, I make a little note on his freaking piece of paper, whatever, I don't care what you do, okay? And you put in a tickler until when?
November.
November, okay? You pull it up in November. Oh, what's this guy? Oh, it says Justin. What did I say to Justin? Well, I told Justin, oh, Justin's moving in January because he's being relocated. How important does Justin become in November? Much more important. Now, Justin's very important to me. What if Justin lists his house in October? Was there anything I can do about that?
No.
No. Nothing I can do about that. But if I decided I was going to follow up with Justin for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, maybe I got lucky and called him in October when you lied to me and listed it with Dan upstairs. Maybe, I don't know. But what did I lose out on? Over here. I lost out on the potential of that one phone call that I hit, and that guy goes, yeah, we're moving, man, we're about to list the house next month. In fact, we're gonna list it with blah, blah, blah. We'd love to hear what Keller Williams has to say. I missed out on that because I didn't ask the right questions over here. So you gotta prioritize. You just gotta prioritize. You can't be afraid of making a mistake on that. You're gonna make mistakes on that. And you're gonna get that wrong probably more often than you get it right. But the way to learn from that is to just get it wrong. Okay, it's just to say, you know what, I'm going to get it wrong, and I'm okay with it, and I missed it, and I blew it. But then when it happens, right, then you got to go backwards and go, okay, what did I not do in that conversation that I'm not going to do again? Was there something I could have done that would have caused me to have an opportunity there? And if the answer is, yeah, it's stupid. I forgot to send the guy a note, right, on my card. I forgot. I told him I would, and I didn't do it. That's on me, not him. Okay? This side of the room, who's a question? Yoni? No?
Also, guys, this guy that's going to push you off till January, okay, you can, again, have an opportunity to give him information. Did you know our office is one of the largest in San Diego County, and we actually sell about 20% of our inventory off market? Would it be interesting to you if we didn't have to do your home, you know, and the whole showings and set it up and everything? Would you like to sell your home off market? We can actually probably find you someone that's willing to rent it to you through January, that kind of stuff. So keep that in your back pocket. It's
there's so many things you can do with so many scripts you could come up with. That, I mean, when he says that, I mean, if that were a real conversation, you could have said, Justin, you know what? I've got a great idea. I know you're not moving until January, but what if we got together in November and we went ahead and got your home signed and listed with us, but off market, that we can start doing some pre-marketing for the home between December and January. Would that be okay with you? So now I just moved your time frame up. Of course, don't worry about the thing. We're going to sign the exclusion, Gary.
No, I'm not worried.
We're good.
No. I just, yeah, and so he brought it up. So sign the exclusion.
There's an exclusion.
No, but what I was going to say, Sam, is that you could explain to him, you know, it's going to take 30 days to close on your home. It's probably going to take 60 to 90 or 30 to 60 days to sell it. So now we're 90 days down the road. Don't you think we ought to get started pretty soon?
Yes. There's a lot you can do, but even before that, again, you're back to that disqualifying discussion. And you got to have a further discussion with the guy. And you don't get excited because he said, I'm going to listen. Don't even get excited when he says to you, yeah, I'll give you a chance to earn the business. Okay. Ask some more questions. So when you bought the home, who was your agent? Oh, this guy. So you're not going to relist with them, it sounds like? Oh, gosh, no, actually, we probably will. We really like them. I mean, they don't remember they just told you 5 seconds ago that they're going to give you an opportunity. As soon as you mention the guy that sold that, they're going to remember the guy. Okay, don't be foolish to think if I don't bring it up, they're never going to. Don't say anything about it. They're never going to remember the guy that sold me the house. Because when the time comes to sell the house, guess who they're going to think about? Maybe, maybe not. So you just got to ask enough questions that even if he says, well, you know, I don't know. I mean, Sam found us the house, and his team did a really great job for us, and we probably, I don't know, we might list with them. We consider it. Justin, I totally appreciate that. I appreciate your loyalty, and my clients are as loyal to me. But I mean, it would make sense to get a second opinion when the time comes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not even suggesting that you commit to hiring me. Just give me an interview, right? That way, at least you get 2 opinions. And if you still want to hire Sam and his bunch of thugs, go ahead. But at least you know, right? So now you know this guy's well, that's a disqualifying question. Okay? You might just decide, I don't want to go down that road. It's just I don't have time to fight that battle. It's just not worth it for me. Throw them in the trash. Move on. You might decide, I'm going to fight the battle. But when you fight the battle, at least you know what battle you're fighting because you've asked the questions.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask the questions. We'll go up here. I'll come back to you, Carl.
I was just wondering, what's your system for follow-up? Like your CRM campaigns, you mentioned a piece of paper, so I'm just wondering, like, what's your process on a new lead that comes in fresh? I don't know if you do like cold calling, but you have a cold call. What's your cadence? And I mean, do you follow like the 8x8 and all that process, or like what is your system?
Okay, so he's a high analytical. Most of you young guys are very analytical. It's really simple. For me, it's not complicated. In my world, I have literally, okay. If your sheet is on my desk and I can see it, you are someone I am touching right now. I mean, I see you in the morning. You show up. There's probably 3 pieces of paper on my desk. Those are hot seller leads for the most part. I need to see it. I'm not a big fan of the computer databases because guess where they are? They're in a computer database. I can't see them. I can't remember the feeling of that conversation. But if that piece of paper and I've got the notes on the back and that thing's right in front of me, right? It's right there. It's real time. So I've got right there in front of me, meaning that guy's probably going to do something in the next 3 or 4 or 5 days, maybe a week at most. And if I think they're a little bit hotter than that, well, let's walk it through. So Somebody calls in and says, yeah, we're thinking about selling our house on blah, blah, blah street, and we want to, you know, meet with you. Okay, so I go meet with them, and I've done all this, and I feel like they're not disqualified. And I feel like these guys are gonna make a decision in the next 2 weeks at most, maybe a week. So now I've made some notes. They're right in front of me. They're on my desk. I can see them when I'm standing up. Call them up again 4 or 5 days, whatever, 2 or 3 days later, you know, hey Ed, yep, just want to follow up. Any questions? Are you guys ready to take the next step that we talked about, which is me coming over to your home so we can go and take care of the paperwork? That's called an embedded command. Okay? I'm telling him we're going to be signing a contract. So now I don't even have to bring that up again. I just said contract. He says to me, yeah, I think we'll be ready on Thursday. Right, so Thursday at 3 work for you guys? Great. Now, when I get there on Thursday at 3, what does he expect to do? Sign a contract. There's no surprise there. What's the first thing I do when I get there? Sign a contract. Yeah. And so why don't we go ahead and take care of the contract we talked about, and then I'll walk to the home with you and help you get ready.
So you'd make that your first step.
Yeah, there's nothing else left to talk about. But he says, I don't know, but you know, my wife's going to be out of town for the next week. We really like you. We're pretty sure you're going to be our guy. You know, we met with everybody. We're just not ready to start yet. Okay, cool. Stays on my desk. Super hot lead here. Right? Now he's giving me kind of some information that I've gone, all right, I don't know his time frame. I might wait 4 or 5 days, maybe 3. I might then at that point, rather than a call, I might send him a text. Okay? Hey, just quick FYI, the home over on whatever street just went pending. Okay, that's great news for us. That's an embedded command. Okay, because now it's us. Right? He reads that. That's us. Maybe no response. Maybe I get a response. Yep, we're almost there. Not quite ready yet. Call them 2 more days or email them. Hey, just want to see if we can set an appointment for Thursday. Now, you know what? We're probably going to wait until after the holidays. How often do we get that? Okay, you're going to get that a lot coming up. Okay? Hey, no problem. Why don't I follow up with you guys in October and update you on the market? Okay. He goes off the desk now. And he goes into a physical tickler. Okay. Like a physical file folder. Okay. It's not complicated. The file folder is October 1. October 1, I pull up my folder and I pull all the sheets out and I go, oh yeah, I talked to Ed. Then I already know the notes. I've got the notes on it. You can put them in a computer if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. It's up to you. I just think you're going to get lost. They're going to get lost. You're going to ignore them. You're going to put them in a tickler. You're going to put them in, some sort of drip campaign system that you're going to forget about them. And they may come up. You'll see them on your phone. You may call them. You may not. They're not going to be as important to you as I pulled you out of a folder and I'm looking at your piece of paper and I know the notes we talked about. And I know what I got to do. So then I may do something with, I'm just kind of walking you through the system of how it might look. So October, okay, I might send them an email. So you're asking for the cadence. There's no specific cadence. Everything is different. Okay, every person that we deal with is different. You know, if they're a personal friend, the cadence will be different. I'm not going to send a friend a text, you know, that says, you know, hey, I wanted to, you know, I may have seen them at a party 3 days earlier, so it's a different cadence. But the process is the same. Goes in that tickler system, I pull them up, and I send him an email with some comps, and I follow up on the comps, and he says, you know, we're totally, you know, we want to do the move, but we've kind of just thought this through, and we want to go ahead and get our kids through this next high school year. So this move is going to be summer. It's just going to be summer. You know, it's just too far. We can't do it right now. Okay. So now where do they go?
Another file.
They could go into a file, but now they probably need some drip. Okay. So now I've got this maybe 6 or 7 month window, but I've already kind of I've gotten rid of all the disqualifications. I still believe I'm pretty certain I'm getting the deal, right? I just got to stay in front of them during the downtime in a very efficient way. Okay. It would not be efficient now for me to pull them out of a folder every single month, but I got to stay in front of them now. So now they might go into the email drip or the mailing database. Okay. But in one of those cadences, right? I'm gonna make a note to myself that says probably moving in June. They become extremely important to me when? April, maybe even March. Okay. Guess what? Now they come out of the computer. Guess where they go back to? Here. And then when we get to April, guess where they go back to? Probably on the desk. Okay. So you just got to kind of have this flow that you just know you're not going to miss something that's really, really important. I just think the computers, in my opinion, I'm just a little old school, they can be a little dangerous because I think you're going to miss more stuff than you think you're going to miss. Especially with the lack of number of leads you guys are going to be managing at any given time. You're just not going to manage, hundreds of leads at a time. You're just not. Some teams aren't. I mean, I know the damn beer team, they're managing hundreds of leads. There's no possible way they can do that, but they probably still do it at some level. There's probably 3 or 4, any given day that have to be physically in front of them. They just can't be in a computer. Does that help you? Yeah. Okay. Don't overthink it. It's super complicated. Super simple. Don't make it complicated. Anything else, Carl?
On the heavy lead gen, that's where I'm at, right? So
we will shift to a different discussion here shortly.
So I'm on the phone cold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a little better, so now I'm getting confused in my own head. Are you interested? Are you interested? Not myself. Is there somebody in the neighborhood possibly? How do I decide? Okay, this is a conversation versus I've asked. Do I want to disqualify them right away in that step also and ask 3 questions and move to the next one, or do sometimes people just want to blow you off? How do I determine that? Is it just experience, or do you have a certain number of queries you're going to ask and then you're going to blow them off?
I think a lot. I think a lot of it is experience, and a lot of it is. Look, honestly, most people you're talking to, how are you on the phone when somebody calls you?
Right.
Most of you are really nice. If someone calls me about something, guess how quickly I'm disqualified? About 7 seconds. Okay, if someone calls me they want to sell me something, I quickly tell them, I have no interest in anything that you're talking about now or in the next 5 seconds, and I actually say, I'm gonna hang up. Please don't take it personally because we're done. And I hang up. Most people aren't like that. They'll go, oh, yeah, well, I don't know. I kind of thought about getting a water treatment system for my home when they haven't. But they're just nice people. They don't want to say, dude, I could care less about a water treatment system. So they're just having a conversation with you because they're being nice, and you're nice. So guess what happens? You guys have a nice talk for about how long? 20 friggin' minutes. Okay, I'm having a nice talk. And how well does that work out for you? It doesn't work out well at all. Because they're upset because you waste 20 minutes of their time, and you have no lead. You think you have a lead. You have nothing but a conversation I just had.
So take them at their word. If they say, I'm not selling, I don't know anybody that's selling, then thank you, move on.
Take them at their word.
Okay.
Yeah. And if they tell you we're thinking about selling, don't take them at their word. Ask a few questions and flush through that. But be prepared. They might be thinking about selling or buying.
So Sam, those leads that you maybe disqualify, let's say that my criteria is 6 months or let's say a year.
Yep.
And they say we're going to be selling, but we're not going to be selling in 3 years. Now, you have some database and some follow-up procedure with them, campaigns, I suspect. And
depends on where you are in your business. If you have no database, no leads, no nothing, is it going to hurt for the first year in the business to put some people in a database? Maybe not, but just be careful with that though, because it is. The best thing I ever did was when I flushed out my old database system and I went to a new one, and I actually took the time and spent a month going through every single contact. Half I deleted, delete. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't talked to you in I don't know how long. I don't even remember you, right? But I had it in this database for nothing. They were just. I don't know, and as I called through some of them, phone numbers are disconnected, and it just was a weight on the system that didn't need to be there.
And on your mind too, isn't it? You have all those contacts, you think I have all these contacts, and they're going to develop business when they're really not going to build it.
Yes, the very nice transition to the mind. Thank you, because that's really where this business is all about. It's really a very powerful mindset business. So being an independent contractor, because we're talking about lead generation, that's probably the hardest part of the business is having a tough enough mindset that you can be an independent contractor. Most people just don't have it. You know, they say they have it, they talk about it, they want to have it, but when you spell it out to them, you know, when people come and meet with me and they say, well, what should I do for the next 30 days? And I say, well, for the next 30 days, you should lead generate for 6 hours a day. Well, some of you already, when I said that, you almost got sick. Right? It sounds horrifying. It's horrifying. That's the reality. I mean, that's what I would tell you to do. You need to lead generate for 6 hours every single day for the next month. And when you can master that mindset, right? If you can be tough enough mentally to do that, then you can move on to the next phase. But now it just becomes, you're like, 6 hours a day, dude. Now you want me to generate for an hour? Then I sleep. So,
guys, I would challenge you, just going back to if you actually qualify a lead, and let's say they are January, whatever it is, I'm going to challenge you to touch base with them sooner than you think you need to. Okay, because you will not scare people away by contacting them sooner. It's just almost improbable. You're just not going to do it. More people are likely to appreciate your follow-up, appreciate your professionalism. Okay, so don't feel like you're bugging them. Challenge yourselves to follow up sooner so that Sam doesn't come in and sign them up while you're sitting there waiting to call them back when they told you to call them back.
Or I just wanted to give you some information about a property they just sold.
Yes.
You know, behind you somewhere.
It's always a good
people
place to
always
come
want
for
to know. So a great way to
just
follow up.
ask for permission. Just so okay. So, Misha, you're not moving till next June. Would it be okay with you if I followed up with you maybe every couple of months just to update you on the market? I know you're not moving till June. Would that be okay?
No, thank you.
Of course, he's Russian. Don't tell me. If you called me, I was kidding you. We meant to say yes. When he said yes, yeah, I have permission to call you. But I don't have permission to be a ding dong, okay, and call you. Are you ready to sell now? No, I'm not ready to sell now. I told you I'm moving in June, man. But I do have permission to go. Hey, I'm just giving you a quick call. I want to update you on the 2 homes that just sold with specific information. In fact, I just emailed them to you. I know you're busy, right? Here's the information on it. Just out of curiosity, anybody in the area talking about selling sooner than you might know of? Well, you know, my wife and I actually kind of have moved things up a little bit. I don't think Misha and I are going to make it, so we're done. So we might be selling. It's a tough break. I got the summer blades.
Just got 2 more leads, right?
That's right. You rarely can you ever over follow up as long as you do it tactfully. You can rarely, and there's so many ways to follow up now. Jeez, a quick little text, an email, a freaking instant message, whatever you guys are doing, you young guys, Snapchat and whatever stuff. So many ways you can. Oh, yeah, right. He's like, yeah, I do that. Back in the old days, we didn't have an option. We had to call people.
Or knock on their door.
Or knock on their door.
Just come from contribution.
Or Gary, Gary used to had to ride his horse over there. He had a car back then. Tie up on the hitch.
Tough room, man.
Tough room. Careful who you mess with. The guy in the front usually has the last laugh. All right, let's keep going. So let's talk about mindset. So how do you, who are your things that have a pretty strong mindset, and tell me why if you got to raise your hand. Jonathan.
Yeah, I believe I have a strong mindset. I think part of it's affirmations, part of it's I have a clear goal, a clear why.
Okay. So how would somebody like me measure your strong mindset? Well, how would I do that?
I think you would be probably based on, here's like what you said, what you're doing for the next month is 6 hours a day. cold calling. And after a month, if I come back and I've only done 2 hours a day, I don't have a strong mindset.
So how is that results? That's how if you really want to measure how strong your mindset is, stand in front of the mirror naked and say, what are you really doing today? What did you do yesterday? What did you do the day before? What did you do last week? And write them down. And write down what you really did last week, and you'll know how tough you really are. Okay? And if you write down, well, I went to this class, and then I went to a broker caravan, and then I, watched this video on how to, be better at my Facebooking, and watch this, and watch that. That's not very hard, right? If you write down, I'm exhausted because I was on the phone for 5 hours every single day. I made 1,500 contacts in the last 3 weeks, and I had 14 leads, and I'm overwhelmed because I don't know which 14 leads I should be calling, and I don't know what to do right now. That means you are mentally tough. You'll know you're mentally tough if you are freaking exhausted. You've done so much that you just like your head's about to explode. You just can't take it. If you're comfortable, you're not mentally tough. And if you're just going, it's a good week, it's all right. Okay. Anybody else mentally tough? In the business, I know you have lives. You're probably mentally tough in other areas. Moms in the room. Moms, any moms? Okay.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Answering the first.
Hey, Sam, it's a new generation.
I was going to say.
Snapchat has changed everything.
I just had a whole human resource thing flying through my head. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. What did I say to this guy? Okay. Well, we can talk outside the room. Right, no, but I'm doing that to get moms, right? I mean, you're tough in that area. You're tough, man. My wife, oh my God, they go through. I mean, it's tough being a mom, right? They exhaust you mentally. Someone told you, what do you do all day? My wife will rattle off a list that'll make you dizzy. Right? But when you're in real estate, you're just not very tough, because you don't really do what you're supposed to be doing. You really don't want to do it. But it's really hard.
So, and you haven't talked about it. I think they've talked about it prior to, and I'm not sure if this chapter is about it. But, and I know for you, you got to have your big why.
Yep.
And what I tell you, I've discovered. I've been doing this for quite a few years, and what I've discovered is, Sam's got a family. He's bound and determined. His wife is going to stay home. He's going to provide for his family. I can tell you, if you ask him why he gets out there, it's not for him. It's for his kids. Am I correct in saying that, Sam?
It even goes, at some point, it gets past that. I mean, it does come, trying to find your why gets harder and harder and harder the more success that you have. Right? Because, the money isn't, it's nice, but okay, pretty darn comfortable. But then it's like, well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? It almost kind of has to circle, in my opinion, all the way back to kind of what's at your core. What are you really made of? Where'd you come from? Can you tap into that power enough, often enough, right? Are you afraid enough? I don't think most people are afraid enough, in my opinion. I don't think they're afraid enough. I think people operate in these la-la lands that, they think they're okay and everything's fine and I'm doing okay until they wake up one day and they're sitting in front of an attorney filing bankruptcy. Then they go, oh, shit, now I'm afraid. Well, you should have been afraid about 5 years ago, when you were dorking around doing nothing, when this snowball was happening slowly and slowly and slowly and mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting, and you were in denial. Right? You should have been afraid then. Because fear is a motivator, right? Whether you like it or not, fear is a very, very powerful motivator. It can also be a little bit debilitating. You have to be very careful with it, right? Because you can't operate in that realm very long. Some people can operate there much longer than others, and not be debilitated by it. I'm kind of one of those people just because of kind of where I'm from and my background, and I can operate in a fear-based mode for much longer than most people without it really affecting me. But most people can't. They don't like it. They want to operate in a pleasure-based, environment, which is fun, but it's not very powerful. It's just not very powerful. Because sooner or later, what will happen if you try to operate from pleasure is you'll eventually tell yourself, I don't know, I really like my 1975 Prius, and I know it's not really a Prius, but I got a sticker on it. I just want to be economically correct. So I just put it on it. Whatever. I'm happy with that car. When really, your dream was, you wanted to drive a Mercedes, but you just talked yourself into the fact that my car is okay. Well, I'm okay with my house. I know it's really my car, but it's fine. I'm good with it. It's comfortable. It is, right? You can get comfortable pretty quickly. So you have to really figure out. I don't know. Everybody's got to go through their own personal, journey internally to figure out, okay, what is it that's going to motivate you? Are you doing it for yourself? If you're doing it for yourself, that's not powerful at all. I mean, it's just not going to work very long. You'll have enough Louis bags and you'll be sick of that really quickly. It just won't work. It's got to be something outside of you pretty fast. It's got to be for your family, for your kids, or for charity, for your church, for your faith, for people around you. So that's something you just have to figure out how to tap into. I mean, it's not very hard for me. I find it easy to tap into that kind of mindset. I just look around me. I was having lunch just across the street, and I walked out of the little place here, the sushi place, okay? And there's a guy staying there's probably 50, and he's on a bike. He's standing with his bicycle, and that guy's not doing well. And immediately my mind goes, whew, I don't want to be there, right? Immediately, I just go, man, that guy's in a tough spot. So I can tap into that like instantly, just very, very fast. But then you tap into it, then you got to take some action. Right? You got to take action. You can go, okay, I don't want to be there. So what do I got to do? I got to go to work.
Guys, a lot of you guys, fear is a great motivator. Keep yourself there on purpose, because a lot of you are going to overlook. I've heard a lot of you say you want 6 to 8 transactions. Okay, so you're seeing the gross commission amount. You're thinking that's what your income is.
6 to 8 a year?
We're getting there. We're going to increase there. Whatever your goals are, realize you got to pay taxes and overhead and hopefully save for retirement and health insurance and all these different things. So your 6 to 8 transactions, you're going to be broke if you're anywhere near head of household. So again, and you can do things like automatic contributions to your retirement to keep yourself in that conscientious, again, this is the hard part about real estate, is that there's nobody telling you how to do what you do, save this, save that. And again, keep yourself in a fear base, do an automatic deduction from your business account into your retirement to keep yourself aware that you don't really have that much money. A lot of it goes away every paycheck. Okay?
Yeah, oh, for sure. So, okay, yeah, no, 6 to 8. No, nobody should have that goal in here.
Guys, I said I was like you. I thought I was going to do 1 a month. I was like, going to kill it, and I did. And I realized, oh my God, that's paycheck to paycheck living. Seriously, honestly, that's paycheck to paycheck living. You're not getting ahead. You have no savings. And so, again, don't let that scare you, but we're going to have to get your goals.
No, let it scare you.
Sure.
No, let it scare you. If you really want to succeed in it, let it scare you. And don't. 10 transactions, okay, fine, it's 120 grand. Take out 30%. Where are you at? You're at 80. Pay your bills. Where are you at? Okay. Maybe you put away 10 grand for the year.
It took 3 to 6 months to convert it. Your bleed rate. What is that over that time? You're going to run out of money.
What happens is now if you have a couple of bad months, you got to run your business. You got to run your family.
Live in your Prius.
You live in your Prius. Yeah. You can't get too far away. You cannot get too far away. So you got to use fear as a really powerful tool, and you got to balance that with, not letting it become too toxic for you, because there's a lot of people just don't have the bandwidth to handle that for very long. They don't like it very much. So, anything else on mindset? I'm here for you guys. So, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Ask questions. Right? Look, guys, you got an opportunity to ask. I'm not patting myself on the back here, but you've got a very experienced agent standing in front of you. Ask questions. Go.
So for the 6 hours a day that you'd recommend lead processing, what would you do if you were to do with your experience right now? If you're in our shoes, where would you spend that time? Cold calling, door knocking? What percentage of time would that be?
All the above. Okay. Doesn't matter. Whatever it takes. Whatever you're comfortable. Not everybody's going to be comfortable doing all the things. Some of you shouldn't be at doors. Some people are like me. We're just ugly. We shouldn't be at people's doors. We'll freak them out. Some of you should be at doors. You'll get more attention. Here's the thing. Don't overthink it. Okay. You first of all, you can't door knock that much. You'll burn out. Okay. You can't call that much. You'll burn out. Okay. There's a lot of ways to make contacts. Okay. You have to just think. There's people that you know. Look at that group over there, that little circle thing. There's people that you don't know and people that you know. Okay? There's 3 ways, I think, to contact people that you know and people that you don't know. Right? So, you ready? There's face-to-face for both groups. There's calling for both groups. There might be 4. Okay? There's email. Let's group email and social media and texting all together. Okay, there's 3. What else is there? Mail. There's 4. There's your 4 ways. Okay. There's 4 ways to communicate with people that you know and people that you don't know. So when you run out of people that you know, guess who you got to call? People you don't know. People you don't know. What group's bigger? People you don't know. People you don't know. That group is endless. There will never be an end to the amount of people you can contact that you don't know. So why don't we call them? Oh, pick me. Because you're scared of them. They're going to tell you that they hate you. They don't want you to call them ever again. And don't you know I'm on the do not call list? What are you doing at my door? This is weird. I'm not selling. Who told you I was selling? Oh my gosh. All those things go through your mind before you even get to the first door. Right? And you're freaked out. You knock on someone's door. You've already figured out all the things that they're going to say. But you know what you haven't thought about? What if I walk up to that door and they say, yeah, we're actually about selling our house. We're moving to Oklahoma. That's what you haven't actually put in your head. You put in your head all the negative things they're going to say to you. And most of the time, you're probably right. They're probably going to say that. But that doesn't mean they don't like you. They just don't like what you're doing. Next. Anybody else? I'll go on a different subject if nobody wants to ask questions. How about this nice lady back here? Rebecca.
I think I'm not really comfortable with calling, so I tried calling, but I'm just not really good at it. But I think I'm better than door knocking face to face. But it's just really time consuming when I'm door knocking, and most of people not opening, but people who are open, they're mostly pretty nice. So it looks like I'm not gonna reach a lot of people by just door knocking.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So you're probably a very good assessment. I personally think you'd be better at doors than you would be on the phones. Phones, if you have, and don't take this the wrong way, if you have any sort of accent or you're just not fluid in conversations, the phones are a disaster for you. Yeah. Because you have literally about 2 seconds to get someone's attention on the phone, and they're done. You got to be that good on the phone. So you got to decide that. So the answer to your question is, do you have another job? Okay. Kids? Okay. So here comes my answer. You got time.
Okay. So now we're working about 2 hours a day, so maybe
6.
6
What
hours.
time are you doing training?
4 to 6.
Weekdays?
Yeah.
Shaking some weekends?
Weekends, open house.
You're working, just do more.
Yeah. So see now he's nice. He says do more. I say do more than you can handle. Okay? You have to be doing more than you can handle.
Yeah, it's a good exercise.
Well, it is. I mean, if you're doing what you can tolerate, right? I mean, you're not really stretching at all. I mean, nobody wants to knock on doors. I mean, it's just not a very fun thing to do, right? That's not really fun. I mean, a highly paid professional athlete, do you think they really enjoy running wind sprints? Stairs, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. No, you know what they really want to do? They want to suit up for the game and catch the ball and do the dance, right? But how they can't do that until they've done the stairs about 50,000 times. So what you're doing is you're doing the stairs about 50,000 times so you can get to the show and catch the ball and have a touchdown, do your dance, and get paid. Same exact concept. It's just not as exciting, which is kind of the hard part. Justin?
Related to your mindset early on, did you have any big ahas? Things that took you from a place of mental weakness to strength?
No, I've never really had mental weakness until, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I've had breakdowns. Well, I have a lot of breakdowns, but my breakdowns are caused by excessive pushing.
Right.
It's not, because I'm breaking down because, I'm weak. I'm breaking down because I push myself too far. The athlete, I'm running too many stairs and my body breaks down. Well, in our business, your body doesn't break down. Your mind breaks down. Your mind breaks down, and you got to figure out how to break through again because you've pushed yourself so hard. So I'd have to say no. I just, I guess for me, it's always been, I don't know. I come from an immigrant family. We had nothing when I was a kid, so I've never really had to work hard to establish until recently. Honestly, until my last 4 or 5 years, where I've had some success. It's much harder now to motivate myself than it was in the first 15 or 20 years. Much harder now.
Because you're more comfortable today than you were then.
Right. Yeah. So I have to reach farther into, areas of fear sometimes, or reach farther into areas of, success, or, I'm trying to shift my mindset more into growth and abundance and things like that. But honestly, I'm just not wired that way. I've been reading a lot of books and I've been coached on, trying to think in terms of growing through pleasure rather than pain. I'm just not wired that way. I mean, it just doesn't work really well for me. So I still find myself having to go kind of back to the same mental thought processes.
So I have an idea for you, Sam. Just look at all the college expense that's going to be coming up for you there.
Yeah, and I do. There's so much of that, But then what happens when you solve that?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And I'm not saying this to be, bragging, but this is kind of the same thoughts you guys have, the same thoughts I have. It's easy to find a way to solve it. I got a kid starting college next year. I'll just sell one of the rentals and pay for the whole thing. I really don't need to work that hard. So see how I just solved that problem? Mm-hmm. But then now my mind says, yeah, but Sam, if you sell that rental and you put the kid through college, and what if your real estate business slows down? I mean, you're getting into your 40s here. You can't run at this pace very long. And you're going to be 50 and you've sold one of your rentals. And you got to take care of you and your wife and you guys are older. What if your kids turn out to be dipshits? Right? So I can literally take myself down a path that's much farther than necessary to go, whoo, oh, slow down. We're not selling a rental. I got to work. We're paying for this kid's college on his own. And it's just the way it goes. I mean, You know, you got to kind of be thinking in terms of what's gonna really powerfully motivate you to keep going every single day.
Do you prepare before you show up?
I'm sorry?
Do you prepare mentally before you show up? Do you fire yourself up like athletes do? I mean, what do you do? Well, now you're at a different level, but when you're at the level I'm at now, did you do things to fire yourself up?
Yeah. So I don't have to so much now, you know. I mean, so I don't know. Anybody watch football? You know, I guess yeah. I mean, I'm probably like, you know, like a Brett Favre in the day. I mean, he just knows he's going to go out on the field, he's going to perform. That doesn't mean I'm not in good shape, but I don't have to, you know, get in the huddle and do the thing and do the whole thing. You know, I'm ready to go. I mean, I can play. You know, I'm ready to play at any given time. Wasn't always the case. So yeah, what I used to, I still do sometimes. Music's always been a really good motivator for me. I've got a bunch of playlists that are, you know, energy based. Just, you know, when I listen to them, it takes my mind to a really powerful place, you know, where I'm ready to fight, you know. So yeah, it just depends on, you know, what's going to get you excited, motivated, ready to fight. Anybody else? Any topic you want to talk about?
Well, I'd say one thing to Rebecca, is it? Yeah. You know, you want to be face-to-face, so find other places where you can be social and face-to-face, things that will resonate with you, whether it be like networking groups or just things that you like, that you can plug into groups where you can be face-to-face with people, and then you can always work in business conversations. And then Sam, I had a question for you. Where are you spending your, like maybe your top 3 lead gen activities? Mm-hmm. And then what about like, where's 80% of your lead gen money focused?
Okay, so he's asking a question that will apply more to me and maybe to him and maybe a few people in the room. So you want to hear things. Okay, it's very important you hear things within the scope of yourself and your business. Because if you hear someone say, well, I'm spending X thousand dollars on Zillow, does that mean you should? No. Absolutely not. Okay, it means you need to be aware there are multiple different places that you can generate leads from. So if you're asking me what works for me right now, we are generating business from internet. We are paying for a lot of business. We're doing heavy marketing. Why? Well, we can now, you know, because the brand is big enough that we don't have to be calling. We don't have to be doing the things. Doesn't mean it's correct. Maybe not. You know, I mean, look, you can do. Here's what I know for sure, because I've done it for many years. You can do 30 to 40 to 50 transactions a year without spending hardly any money at all. I mean, literally hardly any money at all. You can door knock, you can call, you can talk to your sphere, you can network, there's so many ways that you can do 20 to 30 to 40 transactions a year and not spend any. When you want to grow past that, yeah, there's going to be some money spent. You know, whether it's in people, and by that I mean a team and a staff, and you know. So, does that help you? Yes. Okay. And the amounts don't matter. It could be 1,000. It could be 10,000. It's irrelevant, because if it's relevant to you, then it's, you know, it matters. But if it's not, it doesn't matter.
What's your advice if we're just starting out to brand ourselves? Just, I guess, from the very beginning.
Well, do it. I mean, do it in a way that is going to be effective. You know, people have got to remember who you are. You know, when you're talking to people, they got to know. I mean, I can't think of something for Lori Tran, but you could think of something creative. Okay, got to come up with something creative that people are going to remember. You got to be bold enough in the way you brand yourself that people know who you are. And not everybody's like that. So not everybody wants to be, you know, have the freaking Sam on their shirt all day long. You know, not everybody likes that. You know what I mean? You know, some people like to be secret agents. You know, where tell anybody they're a realtor.
Would you agree, Sam? Though, and I gave Carl this advice recently, that I would probably start at the beginning, branding yourself to the people who is going to resonate with, the people who already know you, right? people who already know you, like you, and you trust you are more likely to be more willing to associate you with real estate at first.
Yeah. In the beginning, you probably need to really brand yourself with a brand with Keller Williams much more than you will later in your career. But now you need that association with that brand so that people go instant credibility. So I don't know if I answered your question. The best way to brand yourself is to have a crap load of business.
Yeah, just work your butt off. Because when I started, I did a bunch of open houses because open houses can give that perception that you actually have inventory even though I had nothing.
Yeah.
I started with 10 generic signs and 5 printed signs. It didn't cost, I don't know, maybe a couple $100, but and then just be strategic if you can where you find them, okay? Because then you're going to have people that are driving by your signs every weekend. And so they're going to start to notice you. When you find an opportunity, now that's your next hub to focus. Find an open house around that opportunity. Because then they're going to see you. They're going to drive by your signs. Okay, so you can go on Fiverr.com, read these websites, and pay for someone $5 to create a sort of professionally looking brand. Do that, print it on your signs, and work hard.
So when you do the open house, if people come to you and ask you if this is your listing,
say no, and Sam overpriced it by $30,000. Seriously, yeah, it's okay. To be honest, they're likely to be a buyer, and showing objectivity, showing your own pricing opinion, it'll yield results. You have to come prepared with, you got to know the house you're in, you got to know the half a dozen houses that are around there, so that you can show professionalism and take them and parlay them, because it's not going to be a match most likely. You guys, it's not going to be. But you got to be ready to put them into the other inventory that you're aware of.
You guys ever heard of the drunk monkey?
Yeah.
That's what's going on in your head with all the things that you think are going on, all the things that you think people are going to say to you, and all the things you think people are thinking about you, and all the things you think they're saying about you. None of that is reality. That is all in your head. Most people don't give a crap about what you're doing. They don't even know what you're doing. You could be at an open house and they can walk in and you could tell them, yeah, I'm the #1 realtor in the world. Oh, wow, you are? That's awesome. So you're really good. Yeah, I'm the best. And they go, okay. I'm not saying you should. I'm just telling you, they don't give a crap. Only you care. I mean, you think they're going to ask you, this is your first open house. I can tell. This is your, you think they care if it's your first open house? I mean, I'm being, what they care about is the guy just walked in, his wife's in the car, the baby's screaming, she wants to see the house. He goes in quick to take a quick look, and and you're thinking this guy's worried about this being your first open house. That's not the reality of what's actually happening.
So I'm hearing 1 out of 10 words you're saying.
It's just, that's not what's going on in their mind. That's only going on in your mind. What's going on in their mind is totally different. Totally different. Lori, you had another question? I'll come back to you.
Farming.
I'm sorry?
A question about farming. Just your take on it.
Farming works. Here's what I'll tell you about farming. It's going to be harder and harder to. It's become harder and harder to manage any sort of percentage of market share in any given market these days. You can't expect you're going to have a 1,000-home little farm and do more than 3 or 4 transactions out of it. It's just not realistic because there's 5 of you in that same 1,000-home area, and then there's also 5 people, around that area. So it's very, very difficult nowadays to maintain any sort of significant market share, and you have to be extremely careful with spending a ton of money in any given area now, if you're doing it for, if you're in it for the long haul, and hey, I'm going to work on these couple thousand homes for the next 3 years and expect nothing out of it, right? Because I'm going to be also doing all this other stuff, fine. Because eventually you'll get some momentum over here, okay? But you better know it's coming at a cost. There's a huge cost because somebody has more money than you. Somebody will outspend you in any farm area that you're in. Somebody will outspend you. So you want to be careful with that. That's just my opinion.
So you're saying that
knocking on door is not.
Knocking on door is not farming. So, you know, you go and you pick an open house you want to do. Okay, whether it's, I don't know, it could be, you know, you find a no branded agent who's on their own and says, yeah, go ahead and do my open house. Okay, well, guess what you do now? You do an open house there twice that weekend. You knock on all the doors around that home. Okay? Not for the purpose of actually believing that you're going to become the neighborhood specialist in 30 days in that neighborhood. For the purpose of what? Just finding a couple of deals. Okay, you find a couple of deals, fine, keep going. Okay, keep going, but be prepared. Okay, that may only generate so much business. Right, that's not going to be. You can't just sit there and go, oh, well, I'm number one in this subdivision for today, until somebody else comes in there and outspends you, and then you're not going to be very happy. So you got to be thinking more about finding business than finding an area that you think you're going to control. It's very, 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 very difficult to control areas. Very difficult. There, we got 5-10 more minutes, and we'll wrap up. We can wrap up if you guys are done. It's your dollar, not mine. You guys are paying me, you know that.
I just want to say thanks to you, Chris, Gary, whoever's Jonathan. The drunk monkey thing is so pervasive, and when I listen to what you experienced people tell me to do, and I don't question it, I am much happier, and I actually have a little more success. When I wasn't doing this 6 hours lead generator, I'm finally getting to the point where I'm doing 3 hours, and it feels great. And so all I can say to people in the room is listen to people that have been successful, and don't question and doubt. Just do it, and it's much better than trying to figure it out yourself. Thank you.
Just do it, he says. Easier said than done.
I want to go back to your 4 L's really quickly. I find the lead generating part, as you said, it's like the easiest thing to do. You pick up a phone, you say, hi, my name is Jonathan, blah, blah, blah. It's super easy to do. The part that trips me up, and it's the next part, it's the lead follow-up, lead conversion. And I feel those require a lot more knowledge, especially for us new people. Like, we don't know all the scripts offhand. We don't have all the knowledge. I don't know the market yet. I'm learning it. And so what happens is, especially when I get my first person, all of a sudden I'm qualifying them and disqualifying them, but they're also qualifying me. And my mentor, Paul's been really great about like telling me what to say and everything. But every time I have a conversation with Paul, I learn 10 new things that I need to go learn in order to seem competent when I go to a listing presentation. Mm-hmm. And so like earlier you said, oh, you watched a video on how to give a listing presentation. You're not spending your time wisely. You need to be lead generating, or you said you shouldn't be exhausted from that. I'm finding myself, I spend the time lead generating, not as much, not 6 hours a day, not as much as my own goals of what I want to be doing, but I'm trying to fit in the learning part. And I'm having trouble doing both at the same time while trying to preview homes, while trying to go to open houses. And every open house I'm spending, okay.
I'm going to keep going.
No, I
got you.
I'm just asking, how do you juggle it? How do you prioritize
I'll answer it for you in a better way.
Okay.
Back in the olden days, okay, when we started in real estate, there was no Keller Williams, there were no videos, there were no scripts and dialogues other than one company teaching, Mike Ferry. There was none of that existed. Okay. Guess how we learned? We did it. We did it over and over and over, and we lost listings, and we lost them, and we were pissed because we lost them. And after we lost them, we said, I'm not doing that again, right? And we got so damn good, okay, because of that. I think that's more powerful than any other teaching system you're ever going to have. Nobody is good. You're not going to sit in a room, okay, and learn how to throw a curveball. And you can watch as many freaking videos about it as you want. How are you going to learn how to throw a curveball? You got to get a ball in your hand, okay, and grip it the way and start throwing it over and over and over. It's not curving. It's not curving. But the video guy's curve. It's not curving. But eventually, it's going to curve, right? So the answer to that is do it. You just got to go out and do it more often than you think. And the only way you're going to do that is to get more of that. That's the only way.
Sam, so one other thing, you know, sometimes you don't know what questions to ask until you've been confronted with it. So then you learn from that. Every experience is going to be, because you're going to come, and Sam said it earlier, you know, I didn't get this listing. What did I do wrong? So you're going to go back and analyze it. You can't be always prepared for everything. So there's, each time you go in, you're going to learn something new, and you're going to have more of a learning experience. Nothing wrong with doing the scripts, but the truth is, until you're right in front of that person, I mean, you can practice it all you want, but there's nerves going on. Once you sit down and do it with somebody and you do it correctly, you're going to come away with so much more confidence than you would have had if.
That still applies right now, today. I mean, this year, I've gone on multiple appointments where someone will say to me, well, yeah, well, this one agent told me that they're going to do example, they're gonna run this thing through, you know, Snapchat, where they've got the system. I'm like, up there, shit, hell, Snapchat. so this is on the fly, you know. I'm like, well, you know, Snapchat's a really good tool. Now, but you know what I've learned how to do, Jonathan? I've learned how. What you need to learn is how to manage scripts. Scripts aren't answering all their questions. Scripts are learning how to ask other questions. Okay, so he says, let's example. The guy says, well, there's one agent, man, he sold 47 homes through Snapchat. It's just a great tool. So Johnson, just so I'm clear, it sounds to me like what you want is someone who's using the most modern technology to get the home sold in the fastest amount of time for the highest price. Is that right? Okay, so if I can show you how we do that with or without Snapchat, and I'm the best fit for the job, will you sign with me tonight? Okay, great. Let's go through that. And guess what we're going to do? Are we talking about Snapchat? No. Does he really care about Snapchat? Not necessarily. He just, you got to, so learn how to be really good at sales and at scripts and dialogues, meaning asking questions, and not so worried about what if they say this. Holy crap, there's 1,000 things they could say to you that you're never going to have readily the answers to every single time. 4 or 5 or 6 things you should probably practice and kind of know, okay, look, if they say to me, hey, you know, will you do 21 open houses? Have a script. And if you don't want to do open houses, have a ready to go script, right? If they say, you know, okay, well, we want to do a 1% commission, okay? Have a ready script for that you already know what you're going to say. But there's too many other things that you just can't be prepared for. There's just no possible way. A couple more questions, then we'll wrap up. Go ahead, Justin. You're welcome.
So find your business, the title of today's thing. So did you have a certain type of customer that you really targeted at the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who would that be? You get your pen? All of them.
Any certain...
You can write it down. One side of the question. All of them.
I think I got that. Okay. But like 7 to 10 year home, did you do anything specific like that just before you exhausted the all? Did you go for a specific before?
No. All and anything. Okay. I want to, when you're talking about the numbers game, okay, it's all, you know. So back to mindset. Guess how much market share my mind wants to have? All of it. My mind wants to have. My mind says we want to have 100% of the market share. Every single listing that I can see, I want it. Now, there's a logical part that says, okay, that's not feasible. But the mindset is all of it. So if your mindset is all of it, then that means you got to be doing what? You got to be freaking trying to find all of it.
So you do all of it, but did you go for a specific portion before doing the rest?
Okay, so the specific answer. There's niches. You could call expired. You could call FSBOs. You could call cold call. You could door knock. You could call your sphere. You could call your sister. You could call. Oh, wait a minute. That's all of it, isn't it?
No, that's not.
Well, those are certain types of lead generating, but I mean like a certain customer that you identify in the target market.
You could, if you want to try to find a niche.
Yeah.
Okay. But guess how much business you get out of a niche?
Probably how much.
A niche amount of business. So, but what if you had 12 niches? Guess how much business you're going to get? 12 times a niche.
Yeah.
So your language can come advantage, right? Go on Meetup, find the group from your country.
Yes, that's a
work
niche.
with them. That'll get you a couple deals.
Yeah. Talk to some people that are like you, some people that aren't like you. Talk to you know, whatever.
Your title rep can help you do an absentee campaign to find, you know, landlords that are trying to sell.
So you're not so big on trying to find a specific type of customer that you just, everybody.
Everybody.
Well, because everybody's a potential, aren't they, Sam?
Every single person you come across is a potential, either a potential seller or buyer, or could be a lead for someone who is a potential buyer or seller.
Okay.
Just be prepared to ask anyone you talk to. You think about moving? Do you happen to know anybody? No? Okay, great. Enjoy your latte. I mean, it's just ask the question. You're not going to ask them, so are you in the category of 30 to 50 years old? Do you own a home that's at least 700? If you're not, I'm not going to ask you. Of course you're not. You're just going to ask them. That's just too complicated for me, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to cut it off. Q&A. You guys got some homework that we got to get into.
All right, we're good.
Thank you, Sam.
Can I go? Enjoy the rest of your lunch.
Thank you, Sam.
Good luck. You're welcome.
Okay, everybody, with his door shut. All right, guys. So definitely went off script there. Do yourselves a favor and thumb through this section later tonight. One of the things we didn't touch on that is really important to this whole strategy of the lesson of the day is your time management, is blocking time for these activities. It sounds simple, but you got to make the time in your calendar, otherwise you're less likely to do it. So we're skipping up to, I think it's page 40 in my book, putting it all together. So your action plan for the next class, you got to continue to add contacts to your database, right? Still do your 10-4. It should be 40, but sometimes these page numbers are different. Anybody not clear on what we mean by 10 contacts a day? Anybody not clear on what the difference is between 10 connections? You need explanation?
Can we just go through it one more time?
Sure. So a contact is somebody that you haven't met. You're going to maybe cold call, open houses, whatever, however you find them. You haven't met them, and they give you some sort of permission to stay in touch. Okay, you add them to your database. That's a contact. Okay, you're going to have to make a bottle. You're going to have to make a lot of calls. You're going to have to make a lot of open houses to get to 10 contacts, because you're not going to get, you know, not everybody that you call is going to say yes, right? So you got to work to get 10 contacts. Now, 10 connections is 10 people from your met sphere. So people that you know. Again, you might not have a network built up, but build one up as quick as you can, because we want you to do both, because you're going to need them. But so contacts are the people from the not met group. Connections are the people from your met group. Let's say this week you get a contact, right? They say, yes, you can stay in touch with me, and you know, maybe you agreed monthly, whatever it might be. At the end of this month, that person is now a connection touch. Okay, you're still going to have to get contacts. You're still going to need a bigger database. But as you put them into your database, now they're in your system. Those are connections down the road that you're going to have to continue to make. Okay, and then notes obviously are the easiest thing. You guys, it's really the easiest thing. Very light recap of what your call was. Nice to meet you. Nice to talk with you. Okay, sign it, send it. Cost you a stamp. And then preview houses. Again, look for vacant houses. Hit the caravans, all that stuff. Okay, so now you guys, you're going to have to develop for yourself what your prospecting methods are. You're not going to be good at all of them. Or is 40 the same?
40, yeah.
Okay. So again, my thing was open houses. I hit them as hard as I could. Within probably 6 months, the first year, I did about 50 or 60 of them. And you know, you get busy, which is the good thing. I couldn't do as many. I set out to do 100, couldn't quite get there, but raise your goals, guys. I'm telling you right now, double them. Double them and you're going to be happy, okay? But define for yourself what your prospecting is going to be, okay? And now I am of the mindset that you don't want to dilute yourself too thin. You can try them all, but rather quickly you're going to see what you're good at and what's effective for you, and then start putting more energy towards that, okay? And then perfect that craft, okay? And then as you get too many leads to work with, you can build in these other strategies. Like you said, Sam has been doing it 30 years, so he has a bunch of different tools to load his funnel, right? You guys are not going to have the budget to do a lot of that stuff or the resources or anything. So Keep it somewhat simple. Pick 3 maybe. Okay. I just committed to open houses. I didn't do really door knocking. I would door knock around the open house. Didn't really call much. I tried that. Didn't find it effective for me. So I was a face-to-face guy as much as I could. Sphere of influence type stuff. Yeah, quickly.
I haven't done my one-on-one with Tanya yet. Okay. But from hearing, do I have to shadow 3 people at an open house before I can hold my own?
It's not hard to do. Again, so in your MLS, once you guys get familiar with the layout, the MLS, your home screen, top right corner is going to have your hot sheets section. Okay, hot sheets are the area that you want to keep abreast of. Okay, so you go in there and you got to code what zip codes you want it to show you. Okay, if you do nothing, it's going to show you all of San Diego. I think, but whatever. Change your defaults to, if you're Poway Unified, change it to the 5 zip codes that we have around here, or the beach, Solana Beach area. Change your hot sheets so that it's showing you the information of the area you want to specialize in. Okay. Now you can go in there and you can limit it to show you only listings of our office. Okay. So there's tabs that say, I think it's like all of MLS, office only. Okay. So select office only. You're going to see all the inventory that our office has within your hot sheet area. Then you're going to have, hopefully some selection of properties to look at. The open house icon in the MLS is a little black one. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but it's a little black. It looks like it has an infinity symbol on it. So again, make this quick. So you should be able to check who in our office is having an open house in your area, and then just email those people. They're going to say, sure, come by, check it out. Okay, so yes, you do have to shadow 3. Okay, so prepare for the next class. You got your mission on page 41. Obviously, the 10-4 is the core of that mission. You're going to write notes on the homes you previewed and bring them to class to share, okay? That's important, guys. So what you're doing right now, it probably feels like you're just kind of going out there blind. You're looking, okay, cool, this is a house that has a roof and walls, right? Start paying attention to design preferences. So what color are the cabinets? What color is the granite? What's the layout? You're gonna start to cue in on different factors in our market that give better value, like an entry-level master bedroom, or at least a bedroom on the entry level. Okay, if you have a 2-story house without an entry-level master bedroom, that's not going to appeal to a lot of our multi-generational cultures, okay? So start to pay attention to the nuances. So you need notes to understand what you perceived when you're walking through the house. But still, that doesn't do you any good, right? You have to pay attention to what that house actually sells for, and you're going to start to see over a month or 2, you're going to start to make adjustments to those valuations, okay? So what I used to do is go in the MLS. You can actually set a search up for a property specifically, an MLS specifically. And again, so that'll help you. You can take your notes. You can say, I thought the house was this, and I think it's worth this much. And then again, if you've set your search setup, it's going to ping you when that house sells. Then you can go back and reconcile. Okay, I thought it was worth $675. It actually sold at $650. So I need to make a couple adjustments to my valuations. Pretty soon, you're going to get better at valuing. Okay. But your homework is to bring those notes, write notes on the homes you preview, bring those in. Report out, so be prepared to share your 10-4 numbers. As usual, bring a supply of note cards, business cards, and stamps, and handwritten notes. I'm sorry, notes for handwritten notes. Obviously, you have a bunch of videos to watch here, a few different. Okay, so the next class is win the seller. The biggest thing about winning a seller, you guys, is obviously preparing your listing presentation. Okay, Keller Williams, you guys, I don't know if you realize how much gold this is, but it gives you the core. You don't have to use it all, but it gives you it. Go in the Keller Williams system. Talk to your mentor if you don't know where to find it. But before the next class, do yourself a favor. Go in there and at least look at that so you're familiar with what the default is. Okay, I'm telling you, you don't have to change it. Really, just do it, print it, and use it. But if you are someone that wants to make changes, go in there, make the changes, and bring to next class your listing presentation, because you're going to pair up and you're going to do it with a partner. Because, again, the more you can get through that conversation, the more fluid it's going to feel, the less likely someone's going to be, oh, my God, how long have you done this? Okay? It's the biggest question you want to avoid is how long have you done this at this point? So the more you can be perceived as professional and prepared, you're going to knock it down. Take comfort in the fact that most of the time you're not in a competitive situation, believe it or not. Okay? You can read the National Association of Realtors. Almost all the time, the person is only going to use one agent, okay? And that's cool. So if you don't blow it, you're going to get it, all right? Now, sometimes you're going to be in a competition with one other person. Okay, great, you got to compete. I'm telling you, the truth of the matter is you're not likely to come up against Sam, even though there's more probability there. You're still, I haven't bumped up against Sam in a listing presentation in 4 years. I haven't done it once.
You've done it.
Huh?
But you've done it.
What's that?
But you have done it before, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying in my 4 years, I have not been in a competitive scenario for a listing against Sam, maybe once, actually once. Okay? So it happens, but take comfort in the fact that most of the time you're up against John Doe, who may not have any relationship with the owner. Okay, so you gotta get prepared so that you aren't losing those. Okay, my business philosophy, if I can get myself to win 1 out of 3, that's a good thing. Okay, if I can win 1 out of 3 and I find enough opportunities, I'll make plenty of money. And so I always encourage, and on my website it says to interview 3 agents. Okay, I like educating the consumer. I do feel confident I can win 1 out of 3. So again, be prepared. Bring your listing presentation. Practice it before class. You're going to do it in class. One second. Bring your list of names. Bring copies of the scripts. Okay, look through the scripts. Again, we went off script today with Sam, which is really cool and valuable. But go back in here and look at what you were supposed to learn. And okay, so page 42, you can see your turn to prepare. That's where you're going to make your list for next time. Let's do a little bit of recall and remember on page 43. What are the benefits of prospecting? I hope you guys can answer this. What are the benefits of prospecting? Business, and not being broke. Because you're going to need to prospect way more than you think you're going to need. Okay, again, as I said, I set out to do 1 a month, and I realized after I did 1 a month that was off by half, literally. Okay, it's going to put you up in the 30% tax bracket if you do 1 a month. Well, maybe 25. Okay, so you get 25 off the top. You got expenses of going to and fro and printing and whatnot. So if your goal is 1 a month, I'm telling you right now, make it 2. If your goal is 6 to 8, double it. Okay. All right, so the 4 C's of prospecting, we didn't really go over this, but again, I want you to look at it. The 4 C's of prospecting in the Keller-Williams model is capture, connect, close, and cultivate, okay? Capture is the most important, right? But you can't, if you're not good at connecting and closing, your capture is gonna go, you're just literally gonna be spinning your wheels, okay? So it's a weird art, you asked which one of these is important. And you can say one's a little bit more important than the other, but you have to do it all. If you don't have the opportunities, you're not going to be able to convert. If you're not good at conversion, your opportunities are just going to be literally, it's going to fall through the cracks. Okay. Time blocking. They call it a 3-3, which is prepare, take action, and maintain. The real core of time blocking, guys, is just put it on your calendar and be diligent, stick to it. Don't overcomplicate your calendar. Okay, I have come and gone with time blocking every day, every activity of my day. You know, it looks great. I'm in the office, and this is what I'm going to do: hot sheets at 9 to 10. I'm going to do training my staff from 10 to 11. Blah 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 blah. And I'm telling you, it almost always fails because it over-engineers your calendar. Keep yourself simple. And at this stage of the game, I'm telling you, the only thing that should be in there is green stuff, lead generating, and maybe a time block for appointments, okay? And what I mean by time block for appointments, have 3 slots of your week that are, they're open. It's not necessary. You don't need to plan around your children or your life or whatever. Just have 3 spots that are yours. And that so that you, on the cuff, when you find your opportunity on the phone, you can on the fly say, how does Wednesday at 4 work or Thursday at 10? You know the times that you're going to be available, okay? Okay, we didn't get into any of the good stuff today. As a homework item, as extra credit, I would encourage you to go in here and review the section where it says to pair up with a partner and do a social media post. There is endless content, you guys, endless content. The point is to put it out there. You can go into the MLS and learn what the average days on market are in our area. That can be put into a 1-sentence call to action, okay? Oh, so many things in our business can be put into a 1-sentence call to action. doesn't matter what you say, it matters that you say it and you say it consistently, okay? Social media is a great tool. Facebook and Instagram are still probably the main real estate tools, but I know people use Snapchat. I really don't understand it. All right, so what are your ahas from today? Is that?
I thought Snapchat was a joke.
I don't get it, but man, good for you guys if you do. Good for you. It's not quite the tool that Facebook has become for business. Facebook is honestly pouring it on in terms of really catering towards business.
Yeah.
So Facebook is where you're going to find most of your stuff. I hear people doing Instagram all the time now. And the Instagram, the way you do that is you develop a partnership. So you follow agents from Anaheim and all over the world. You engage with them. They're going to follow you. And then it maybe, happens that they find a San Diego referral, they're going to reach out to you. So it's not the easiest thing to do, but do it consistently. You'll make it work. So what ahas from today you guys want to share? What do you guys think?
6 hours of lead gen every day.
6 hours? Good. Anything else?
Mindset.
Mindset? Dude, you guys don't underestimate that. I did in the beginning of my career, and I'll tell you the truth of it is you will find yourself in those throes of production where you're like, what the hell am I doing today? Because you're not approaching it from a routine in the morning. There's a good book called Miracle Morning. There's several books on the topic, but basically your morning routine sets your whole day. So I challenge you to create a morning routine that gets you in the right mindset. Most of the people that you're going to hear on stage throughout your life have a great morning routine. So regimented. Wake up, probably do some sort of meditation or spiritual activities for at least 10 minutes. Do some gratitude, some journaling. Really just get all the junk out of their head for the moment. And then you're able to be stronger for the stuff that is harder for you to do. And they do it in the beginning part of their day, okay? So create a morning routine. In my philosophy, I think you should be getting up early. I think you should be doing exercise and meditation first thing of the day. That's because you're going to feel like you won the day already, and it's going to tire you out so that you're not sitting there in front of your phone thinking you got to be doing this and this and that. It kind of helps you focus on things. So, all right, what can I squeeze in 5 minutes here? Okay. Okay, that's not for today. You guys have a form on page 45 called Achievements of the Week. Okay, so we started this, it seems like a little bit off. That's supposed to be done at the end of the week. So just keep an eye on that, but that's the stuff you're going to be logging toward the end of a week. Okay, accountability. Now that's probably the second best thing you can do here. Are you guys partnered up?
Yeah.
Okay, who's your partner? Who's your partner? Not here? Okay, make sure she's not falling off. That's the job of an accountability partner. Partner? Okay, partner? Wait, so you're both the same partner?
No.
You guys got to settle that? Oh, worry. Okay, worry after that. Partner? Who you guys do partner? You guys going to partner up? Okay. Who are you partnered up with? You guys? You guys? Okay, guys, get creative. If you need someone, find a third, or you can partner with Tanya or a mentor. The reason I say that is because you need to practice, guys. This listing presentation, we're giving you homework to do. Honestly, if you want to knock real estate out of the park, do your listing presentation. Practice your listing presentation with your accountability partner before class. Practice it again in class. I'm telling you, it's going to come back and pay dividends. Okay. Okay, what questions, I mean, I'll give you a little open mic. You can ask me questions if you'd like. I'll do the real quick version of my story. I moved down from Northern California July of 2013. The only network I had was my wife. She had maybe half a dozen high school friends. She went to RB High. And she has a brother, sister, and parents. Okay, that was my network that I started with. I tried to cold call for a little bit. I found it really difficult because I don't know what I'm talking about at that stage of my career. Not to discourage you, if you're comfortable on the phones, just do the scripts and it will work. I guarantee it. But so again, I went to a mentor of mine that was a longtime broker, and he said open houses, and so I really fully committed. As I said, I tried to do 100 in the first year, fell short of that, did 60, but that was good enough for like a rookie of the year type thing at that time. My whole strategy is face-to-face, warm stuff. I don't like cold anything. So I'm just, frankly, I'll admit to you, I'm not good at cold calling, cold door knocking, whatever. I always need to have an excuse or something that I'm coming from contribution with, okay? True contribution, not, hey, here's the market stats of your neighborhood. So that's my thing. I'm a student of what's called the Feeney & Company. It's a company that coaches you on referral marketing. Coaching is coaching, guys. Get a coach. Keller Williams has a coaching system called MAPS. The best thing you can do is before you think you're ready for it, get a coach. They're going to keep you focused. Okay? Questions?
Well, I love Buffini myself. So are you in his coaching program? Or
Was,
were
and,
you?
was, and I'm not currently.
How much is it?
Oh, well, they have different tiers of their membership. I don't know, man. They just did a price increase. It's like between $400 and $500 a month. 30-minute call twice a month. But again, you're not getting, I mean, they'll teach you some tricks of the trade for sure. They've got a lot of stuff you can use. But it really is just to have a sales manager. You're hiring a sales manager. So some of you might not need that. I think that's awesome if you don't, but I do. A lot of us in the business do. So that's what you're paying for. Don't worry about what you're paying for a sales manager, okay? Really, because they're all going to be within, I mean, I would question if you're going to hire someone doing it for $250 a month, you're probably hiring inexperienced. Most of the people that know what they're doing are $500 to $1,000 a month. So,
I was just saying, what's your biggest takeaway been from that?
From Buffini?
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway is that I personally I wouldn't waste my time, certainly not in the beginning of your career, on farming, because I think referral marketing is the easiest way to find business. So those of you that don't know, referral marketing, it's an art in itself. You can do it however you want. The core are calls to your sphere. Okay, you still have to be consistent on the phones. There's no way to get around the phones in this business. Notes, okay, again, same thing you're doing here. You're going to write notes on the tail of your calls. You're going to write notes to the people at your open house, okay? And then we also do something called a pop by. So that's a face-to-face visit to these people that you're interacting with at some frequency. You get to determine the frequency. I did it quarterly the first year. So what I did, again, I did as many open houses as I could. Within about a month, I had enough of a list that I would call my database. And I just established a top 100 that I can start mailing to. So you can find a company to do a mail letter and give you a mail letter each month, a newsletter. So what I did was I liked the old school stuff. I like the actual mail in the mailbox. I didn't do a lot of the drip campaign email stuff. That's just my preference. But so I, as quickly as I could, established a top 100 to mail to, and I started getting that out there consistently. Once a month, they saw my mail, and then 2 weeks after it, they saw an email. It's not a cold email. It complements the actual mail piece. Okay, so it's mail, email every 2 weeks. So that helped, and then you also want to establish this. You're not going to be able to do pop buys that much. So I had a top 50 that I did pop buys 2 quarterly. Okay, so I stopped by. My budget for pop buys was between $3 and $5. It's not about the gift that you give; it's about the consistency. So you can give a chapstick with a little sticker on it that reminds them of you. Okay, doesn't matter what you give. I've seen people give emergency packets. How many? You can buy 1 box of those and cover your whole database. You know what I mean? Popbuyideas.com. Go ahead and go there if you want ideas. There's literally seasonal ideas. You can play into the launch of football season. You can play into all sorts of different things. Whatever it is at the time of the year you're going out, there's an idea in that website for you. Popbuyideas.com. It's free. Okay, so that was my thing though. So I like face-to-face, and what I found was positive assurance that my strategy works, because I would go into areas that I know are farmed by agents in this office for 20, 30 years, and I pull a deal out of there, okay? One, that's great, but then if you do the referral marketing properly, that person becomes a referral partner. So you are actually increasing your odds of not only getting that deal, but a friend or family or neighbor, somebody they can introduce you to if you're doing it right. Okay, so I found that, yes, these people are farming neighborhoods, and maybe that's up to them. That's how they want to spend their time. if you put the same amount of energy into referral marketing, I can guarantee you you're going to be bigger than anybody in this office. Guarantee. I think it works. It works better than cold calling. Why wouldn't it? If you do it right, one person turns into two. Two turns into four. Four turns into eight, right? Do the math. It is very quick. Within 2 or 3 years, my business at this point was about 60 to 70% referral already. And that's cool because I don't really have to grind for that. Yes, I have to work, but I don't have to grind. It helps me establish a little bit of consistency in this business, which is it's very, very important because what you don't want to do is become an agent that's desperate for a paycheck. And you are going to be upfront, and it kind of skews your advice a little bit. Okay, like today I'm negotiating a request for repairs for a client. I don't need the paycheck, so my advice to them is very objective. In fact, I just told them I don't think this is the right house for you. These people aren't cooperating. I know I can find you a better house, and that's my honest truth to them. But that position was only granted to me because I have consistency. And consistency is only because I've done referral marketing well. But you can get consistency through just lead generating, okay? Whatever your style is, if it's cold calls, do it, and you're good. Okay?
What can we do as a new agent to, shadow agent?
Shadowing?
Yeah.
Well, so as a new agent, you have to choose a mentor. The mentor is someone that's going to sort of handhold you in terms of helping you be prepared. But determining how you're going to do your business, that's not what we steer, okay? Because that's up to you guys. It depends on what you're willing to do.
No, I'm saying you say that when you're open house, you're not handling your.
Say one more time, a little bit louder.
You say that when we're doing going to open house, somebody else's open house,
yeah.
We don't handle our business card.
Right.
But what do we do?
Find open house. If open houses are your thing, find open houses. Okay. So you first have to shadow 3 so that we know what you're doing. It makes you a little bit less of a liability. So shadow 3, then you're going to be out in the world on your own. If open houses are your thing, your mentor can help you find strategies to find them. I've already shared with you guys. Vacant homes, you're all going to do the same thing now, so you're going to be hitting up the same people. I didn't care if it was a stale listing, so a lot of the time, if I wasn't feeling like I was finding them, I'll go down to the listings that have been on the market for 100 days, even though that's way too long for this market, and see if they need an open house. So don't be afraid, because again, you're going to be practicing your craft, and that is worth it. I don't care if you find nobody at the open house. I had a handful where there was literally like 0 or 1 or 2 guests, and nothing came out of it in a tangible sense. But I practiced, people saw my signs, it's still a benefit.
Ada, you just meant you don't hand out, I think what she's trying to ask is, I think she just took, don't hand out business cards at open houses to me, just don't do that at all. It's just for shadow. No, if you're holding it.
If it's your open house, you hand out cards to everybody that comes in. Okay?
Just for the
what I'm saying is, if it's not your open house, don't cherry pick people outside, parking and walking into the open house and say, hey, I'll give you a rebate if you use me. That stuff will get you barred. Okay, that stuff is that's unethical. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Any other questions for me?
You mentioned a link, I believe, about branding. What was that?
Oh, there's Fiverr.com. There's Freelancer.com. Those are designers just sitting there waiting with, you're going to get a template sort of looking look, which a lot of people do, but it doesn't matter. Don't let that hold you back. You want to have some sort of branding established to create the visual consistency.
Say Fiverr?
Fiverr, Fiverr. I think it's only 2 R's on the end, but it's really weird. It might be 3 R's. Freelancer.com. So yeah, guys, if open houses are your thing, just be strategic about where you're trying to find them, but don't be overly selective, because what I mean by that is if you can't find them in your actual target area, then get flexible. Do them is the important thing. If you got to go to El Cajon to do it, do it. You'll find some business. And again, the more business you find, it puts you in a position to choose whether or not you want to service that business. That's what I enjoyed really quickly is, my experience coming in was in insurance sales. I had about 7 years in sales and marketing, and I have a graphic design background, but I knew right away the opportunity cost of working for something that isn't something, okay? like Sam said, disqualifying is the most important thing you can do for your career, so you're not wasting your time on people, okay? But if you're doing whatever it is that you're doing enough, you're going to get to a point where you can select if you want to work with the people, and that's great. So if you do an open house in El Cajon, you find some contacts in El Cajon, great. Drip on them, work on them, go back to your target area, get busy, and pretty soon that El Cajon lead might come into play, and you're going to be hopefully in a position that whether or not you want to service it or refer it out, but you get something out of it, okay? Everybody in the beginning of their career is going to go farther than you want to go. I went up to Temecula a few times, Oceanside. You're going to have to do that. It's just part of the business. But again, focus on an area, be a specialist, because that stuff does come back because you're going to be more familiar. You're going to be able to have the conversation more fluidly with those opportunities. Whereas if you're a generalist in the whole county, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to know what the market is in University Heights. I really have no idea. I know it's hot in San Diego. I can probably get by in the conversation, but Poway Unified is my specialty. I can probably mention an actual comp in conversation with that person on the fly. You know what I mean? So that's another side note here. Not a bad idea to have the MLS open when you're doing your calls, if you're doing calls. Okay. How can you contribute to? So again, I value coming from contribution. So if you find an opportunity and they say yes, you can keep in touch with me. Let me hear an idea of what you can deliver to them that comes from contribution. Anybody?
Your mobile app. The mobile app. I've been using that a lot. That's a great tool.
It's a good tool.
Showing them how to use it. It's got a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. In the realm of contribution, it's kind of a gray area because we're putting them into our tool. But anybody have any other ideas? If you had a homeowner that says you can call me in 2 months, but you want to make sure you're not going to lose it in a month, what's a good idea that you can do to contact them in a month without just asking for business?
Send them some.
No.
Go ahead.
I was going to say let them know about some recent sales
Perfect.
from their area.
That's the easiest. Yep. And be specific. Don't just send them, here's what's happening in 19128. Here's what's happening in Adobe Ridge and Sabre Springs, or whatever the real fine neighborhood is, okay? And then just start to pay attention to the bigger trends. So like you guys, in whatever area you live in, just as an exercise where you live, look at you'll see a natural sort of boundary of where that development happened, okay? And you don't know this yet, but a development is put out in phases and contracted out to builders, okay? So you're going to find that in your area, you can look at the satellite images and you can notice different roof types and different roof lines and different models are really repetitive. Then you can go back into the tax records and see why do they look different. Okay, now I know that these homes were built by Party, these homes were built by Standard Pacific, and you're going to start to be able to, again, that's just going to strengthen your edge when you're actually talking to the opportunity that you find in your area. That stuff's helpful because a lot of the senior agents, you guys, they're going to know the model name. I don't know the model name because I'm not from here, but they're going to know, you know, in my neighborhood, I was selling a house in my neighborhood and they're like, oh, this is a Model 3. I was like, okay, all right. I don't know that. But you can prepare in advance and know at least who built the home because there's going to be valuation fluctuations too. The Party homes might be denser, okay, meaning closer together, which you're not going to get as good a value if the Standard Pacific development was bigger lots to housing size, right? So you'll start to know those generalizations. But as Sam said, don't overcommit to that niche because you're not likely to get more than, even at full efficiency, 1 or 2 deals out of your neighborhood. That would be great. 1 or 2 deals out of a neighborhood, okay? So that's it. Anybody, any other questions before we break? Okay, you're here to get me. Okay, one last thing, guys. I want you to do this. Send Sam a thank you, okay? Write down an aha to Sam. I'll deliver it if you want, or the front desk can deliver it. So address this to Sam. Just thank him for his time. Or,
we can do it. We can deliver it for you.
Okay, drop it off at the front desk.